Hello guys, this is your friend Naruto Audio Fanfics and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto became the Primal Saiyan God of Universe 6, and Caulifla, Kale, Vados, Kefla and Shilai ruled beside him Part 3. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Everyone was on edge after what they just saw Naruto do to Jiren. Naruto calmly walked around looking for his next opponent. He walked over to where Kaba was at and decided to watch his fight. He noticed Kaba was transformed into Super Saiyan but was still getting beat up. Meanwhile in the stands Beerus was having a bit of a discussion with Whis. Stands. Whis, how concerned should we be about Goku? We now have two extremely powerful fighters in this tournament and both of them have already defeated Goku with little difficulty. Beerus said. It's quite concerning, Lord Beerus. I'd have to say we should be really concerned. Now Naruto has sent those two Saiyan girls to fight him. He has to fight against a Super Saiyan 2 and a girl with an uncontrollable amount of power. His only hope is to tap into Ultra Instinct again to win, but I doubt that will happen again so soon. Whis said. Hey, Goku's child and Namekian, stop goofing around already. Eliminate those two you're fighting and go protect Goku. Beerus exclaimed. Sorry Beerus, but even if Goku manages to achieve Ultra Instinct again, he will not stand a chance against Kale and Caulifla. They have a secret weapon up their sleeve and I'm sure Grand Zeno will greatly appreciate it. Now let's finish watching the tournament. Champa said. Do you know what he's talking about, my dear sister? Whis asked Vados. Of course I do. But like everybody else, you're going to have to wait and see what it is. Vados said. Had any of them been paying attention to Fua, they would have noticed he was missing his earrings that are to be worn by the Supreme Kai. Kaba versus Mona. Kaba was holding Mona back with his hands and suddenly he went on the offensive. He went at her with a barrage of kicks and punches that she had difficulty blocking and keeping up with. He found an opening and gave her a punch in the chest, a kick to the gut and another punch to the face. He jumped up high in the air and kicked two energy blasts from his feet at her. Both blasts connected and drove her back through a couple of boulders. Kaba was breathing hard and didn't have time to recover since Mona just jumped out of the smoke right after and she was unharmed. I'll be honest with you, shorty, that almost kind of hurt me. Now you'll be sorry, she yelled. Mona suddenly grew to the size of a huge ball and barreled towards Kaba faster than he could react. She smashed into him and made him cough out spit, sending him flying back, tumbling on the ground. She came falling out of the air right on top of him, making a crater, and you could hear his screams of agony and pain. She jumped up in the air once again and it was revealed that Kaba was knocked out of his Super Saiyan state. I'm not done with you yet, Mona exclaimed. She came crashing down but Kaba managed to get out of the way. She began to roll again and caught up to him quickly, hitting him out of the air and causing him to tumble on the ground again. He managed to correct himself during his tumbles and bounced up to land on his feet. He was bruised up, breathing heavy and couldn't even stand up straight. He was right at the edge of the ring and she came barreling towards him again. She came straight at him and he jumped out of the way thinking she would go straight off the edge. However, to his shock, she quickly turned and hit him again, sending flying over the edge. Bye bye little man, she taunted at him. Damn it, I couldn't even eliminate one person. At least I did some damage to her. Somebody else should be able to defeat her now. Kaba thought. He was suddenly grabbed by his arm and looked up and saw Vegeta, who did not look happy at the moment. Vegeta lifted him up and threw him back into the ring, making him crash into the ground. Hey, do you mind? Don't you steal my victory. Mona said, however Vegeta just blasted her away. Thank you for saving me, I'm in your debt. Kaba said but got a knee to the gut from Vegeta, sending him to the ground. Don't get the wrong idea. Vegeta said. What do you mean? Kaba asked, struggling to stand up. I didn't pull you back as an act of kindness. I can't stand to see a Saiyan embarrass our race by losing so easily. Vegeta said. I'm sorry. Kaba said. I hope you aren't planning on getting eliminated and losing, failing to keep your promise to me. Vegeta said. My promise? Kaba asked. You really don't remember? You said you'd take me to see planet Sadala. Vegeta said. Oh yeah, I remember now. But only one universe can survive. Which means no matter how hard I fight, there's no way to keep that promise. Kaba said. I'm going to win, and when I do, I'm going to revive you all with the Super Dragon Balls. Vegeta said. What? You would do that for us? Kaba asked. I'm not going to let a Saiyan break his word. That way you can keep your promise and show me Sadala. Vegeta said. You're the best master. If by some chance we win this tournament, I'll wish you back and then you can come to the 6th universe. Kaba said. Don't get ahead of yourself. I'm going to be the one who wins this tournament, not you. Vegeta said. Yes, sir. Kaba said, saluting. Vegeta nodded and left to go find somebody to fight. Neither of them noticed Frieza behind a boulder plotting to make his move. Kaba realized Mona was coming back and got ready for a fight. This time I'll remember my Saiyan pride, master. I won't let you down. Kaba said. You call that pest your master? Mona said as she barreled into Kaba, sending him into a boulder. After I'm done kicking you, I'll throw out that miserable Saiyan Vegeta too. She said and crashed into Kaba again. Master. Kaba thought, and static appeared around him before going away. Now this will be interesting. Naruto thought as he looked on from on top of a boulder. Then I'll go after those Saiyan women who ran away from me. I'll start with the loudmouth. Then I'll go to the shy one with the uncontrollable power. I can easily mentally break her and cause her own self-destruction. Mona exclaimed. I'll never let you touch them. Kaba said as more static showed up around him. Mona hit him again, sending him to the ground. After he hit the ground, she crashed into him and grinder him into the ground before stopping and jumping away. What a weakling. I thought Saiyans were supposed to be great warriors. You're frauds. Quitters and cowardly sneaks. Vegeta is too. Mona said. Don't you dare say that about him. Kaba said with static flowing around him. Why not? It's true. He blindsided me and ran away. He's nothing but a spineless coward. No wonder he's lasted so long. He's been running away from fights the entire time. Mona said. How dare you? Kaba exclaimed. I don't know why I'm wasting time with a bunch of cowards. I'll end you, that sucker punching Saiyan, and then those 2 girls. None of you are worth my time. Mona said. Don't you dare call us unworthy. We are Saiyans, the strongest species alive. Do not talk down on us. Kaba exclaimed. He was going in and out of Super Saiyan and finally let out a scream, powering up. He finally reached his breaking point and ascended to Super Saiyan 2. Is changing your hair color supposed to scare me? Mona asked. As soon as she was done talking, Kaba punched her in the gut and gave her an uppercut. Alright, now I'm pissed off. I'll flatten you, you damn brat. Mona said. She started spinning and jumped in the air, going to flatten him. Kaba countered with a blast. He was struggling to keep her at bay. He dug deep and eliminated her after he added more power to his attack. Stands. Mona of the 4th universe has been eliminated. The Grand Priest announced. I'm not mad at you, just disappointed. Quatella said. Woohoo, way to go, Kaba. As long as you listen to me, you can eliminate anybody. Champa said. Lord Champa, wasn't it you who told him to go run and hide? Vados asked. Fighting area. That's more like it. Now to the more important issue. How long does Jiren intend to wait to make his next move? That Naruto person is just as strong. I should hunt him down as well. I need to put these people in their place and show them who the strongest in this tournament actually is. Vegeta said. You'll have to get through me to face Jiren. Toppo said, appearing before Vegeta. I don't waste my time dealing with second strings. Vegeta said. You're second on your own team. So you have no place to talk. Toppo said. Oh, shut it, Mr. Mustache. Why don't you come find out for yourself? Vegeta said, powering up to Super Saiyan Blue. Kaba was walking around in the tournament looking for his remaining teammates. I just hope Kale and Caulifla are still okay. He said. Ha 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 ha. Frieza laughed and Kaba looked to his right. It's you. Kaba said. Greetings, monkey. You seem to be a worthy adversary. I would love to have the honor of a fight if you'd oblige. Frieza said. Alright, you got it. Kaba said, getting in his stance. Feel free to attack any way you see fit. Frieza said. Kaba ran forward and let out a multitude of punches at Frieza that he easily blocked. Frieza just smiled and kicked Kaba away into a boulder, making him cough up spit. I'll have to be honest. While I do respect strong fighters, there's nothing I hate more than a monkey. After I rid this ring of your vile essence, I'm going to play with your Saiyan sisters. That should be a bit of fun. Frieza said, holding Kaba by the face. What? Kaba said and powered up to Super Saiyan 2 and Frieza jumped back. I'm not gonna let you terrorize them. There's no way. We're the ones who are gonna win this. Kaba said and fired a powerful energy blast at Frieza. I know that blast connected. Kaba said, breathing heavy. He was then hit with a barrage of energy blasts from the smoke. He fell to the ground and his Super Saiyan 2 wore out. Use what little brains you have and surrender. Frieza said in his golden form. I'll never surrender again. I'll keep fighting until the end. Kaba said, laying on the ground. That's too bad. Your end is now. Goodbye, you stupid monkey. Frieza said and blasted Kaba out of the ring. It would have been beneath me to waste any more energy on you. Frieza said. Then how about me? Naruto said as he walked in front of Frieza. I would love to stay and fight, but I have more important things to do. Frieza said and walked away. Naruto appeared in front of him though. No, I insist that we fight. He said and punched Frieza in the gut. Stands. Kaba from Universe 6 has been eliminated. The Grand Priest announced. He waited until Kaba was tired and cornered him. That weasel. Champa said. You should relax, my lord, it's not good for your health. After all, it appears Frieza's time in the tournament is about to run out. It appears Naruto is making his move. Vados said, point at Naruto, who they saw punch Frieza in the gut. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Naruto, hurry up and take him out. You still have Jiren to fight later on. Champa said. Lord Beerus, it appears that we get to see Naruto in action again. I doubt he'll go all out, but we can get a better glimpse of his power. Whis said. Yes, I know. We might be able to think of a strategy to take him out. Hey Frieza. You better not lose to him. We didn't bring you back from hell just to lose. Beerus said. Fighting area. Quite the cheerleader you have up there. Your universe must have been desperate for fighters if they had to go all the way to hell to find you. Naruto said. Shut up, you stupid monkey. After this is over, you will bow to me like a loyal subject and will call me Emperor Frieza. Frieza said, standing up. I don't bow to anyone. Now let's fight. I believe you insulted my friend earlier. It's time to pay. Naruto said. They ran at each other and met in the middle with their fists clashing. They met in the middle and Naruto had a smirk on his face while Frieza looked agitated. Frieza broke the struggle between them and tried to use his tail to strangle Naruto. It didn't work because Naruto grabbed his tail and swung him around in the air before slamming him into the ground. Frieza quickly recovered and they began trading punches and kicks all around the arena, creating craters from the shockwaves that were being made from the force of their attacks. They parted and Frieza looked the worst. He was covered in cuts and bruises while Naruto was perfectly fine. I will not be made a fool of by some monkey from a different universe. Frieza said. He powered up and went golden. Now prepare yourself for the might of Golden Frieza. He said. Golden Frieza, you say? Nice transformation. I can feel the power from your new form and it's quite nice. Sadly, it won't be enough. Naruto said as he powered up to Super Saiyan. So what if you've transformed? I've dealt with the Super Saiyan powers for many years now. I know how to deal with its powers. Frieza said as he rushed forward. You may have dealt with the Saiyans from Universe 7 and Kaba. But I'm not like them. I've actually mastered all of my transformations. So the limitations I should feel from them doesn't bother me. Naruto said as he grabbed Frieza's punch. Frieza pulled back, shot an energy blast from his finger and Naruto ducked out of the way. He kicked Frieza's feet from underneath him and gave an axe kick to Frieza's gut, knocking the wind out of him. He shot multiple energy blasts at Frieza from point-blank range and all of them connected. Once the dust cleared, Frieza was on the ground seriously wounded and he was out of his golden form. Naruto just looked at him and shook his head. I really hope that wasn't the best you can do. I didn't even break a sweat. Naruto said. Frieza heard him and shot multiple energy blasts from his finger at Naruto. He fired away like he was trying to kill Naruto and didn't let up for about 30 seconds. That will teach you to mock me, you stupid ape. Listen and listen closely. I am Emperor Frieza of the 7th universe. You will bow down to me like your ancestors of the 7th did before I killed them off. Frieza said. Don't think so. Naruto said. He sent a powerful energy blast out of the smoke, sending Frieza over the edge of the ring, but he managed to hold onto the ledge and not fall over. The smoke cleared and Naruto was standing there unharmed. How are you not harmed? Frieza asked. Did you honestly think someone stronger than 10 or 11 of the 12 gods of destruction would really fall to someone like you? If you did, then you must be even more stupid than the Saiyan Goku on your team. Naruto said. Do not mock me, you filthy ape. Frieza said and created a huge reddish-orange attack in his hands. This attack has enough power to destroy a planet. Now die, you stupid monkey, and burn in hell. Frieza said. He threw the attack at Naruto, who just stood there, and let the attack get close to him. Naruto held up one hand and punched the attack back at Frieza, who dodged it but didn't have enough time to dodge Naruto, who hit him with an elbow to the face and kicked him into a rock. Naruto appeared in front of Frieza in a boxing stance and just used him as his personal punching bag. He gave Frieza multiple punches to the ribs, chest, face and gut. By the time he was finished, Frieza was barely recognizable. His body was purple, blue and red from the bruises and his face was swollen. Naruto decided to finish it and picked him up over his shoulders and just dumped him over the edge. Well, that's another elimination for me, Naruto said. He stood there and then jumped out of the way. He sensed something coming up fast behind him and then noticed something standing on the edge. The dust in the area covered it and revealed some kind of chameleon. He wasted no time and gave it a quick energy blast, sending it over the edge as well. Camouflage, nice strategy. But you should have stayed away from the dirt, Naruto said. Stands. Frieza of Universe 7 has been eliminated and Gamasaras of Universe 4 have been eliminated. The Grand Priest said. Whoa, he's strong. Krillin said as he gave Frieza a Senzu bean. Yeah, I know. He made Frieza look like a rookie. Tien said. Way to go, Naruto. Kaba said. Woo, yeah, that's how you handle business. Champa said. Yes, he performed quite well, Lord Champa, I am pleased as well. Vados said. Oh, come on, Vados, you can show a little more enthusiasm for someone you allow to call you mom. Champa said. Yes, my dear sister, go ahead and cheer for your son. Makarita said in amusement. I think he's kind of cute. Kuss said. Oh, you're only saying that because of him calling you cute at the Xeno Expo. Vados said. Ladies, if you don't mind, we do have a tournament to watch. Quatella said. Ah, he's just mad because he lost another fighter. Champa said. Yes, I believe you have 2 more fighters left before you lose. Beerus said. At least I'm not like Universe 11 who only has 3 fighters left. Quatella replied. We may have only 3 fighters left, but our final 3 fighters are the strongest in my universe. Toppo happens to be a candidate for the next god of destruction. I have nothing to worry about. Belmod said. Except for that handsome Naruto fighter. While I admit his fighting style is a bit brutal at times, I cannot deny the fact that he is a handsome man. He would fit wonderfully in my universe. We would then be able to spread our love farther than we could imagine. Hellas said with sparkles in her eyes. Fighting area. Naruto walked to check on Kale and Caulifla's fight with Goku. He knew they already used their secret weapon because he could feel that same energy from Goku again. He made it to the area and instantly regretted coming over. The fighter that was the fusion of Kale and Caulifla, as he heard the fighters call her Kefla, and she was going crazy right about now. Yup, seems about right. You add the power of Kale with the attitude and temper of Caulifla and this is what I imagined would happen. He thought. He jumped out of the way of a stray laser-like energy beam from Kefla and just watched as she gathered all of her energy in her hands. She shot a huge energy blast towards Goku, who was using Ultra Instinct. Naruto watched as Goku slid on her attack with his own and fired a point-blank Kamehameha at Kefla, sending her out of the ring. Stands. Kale and Caulifla of Universe 6 have been eliminated. The Grand Priest spoke. Hey, what the hell, man? Goku, when I see you again I'm going to kick your, do you hear me? Caulifla said while Kaba was holding her back. Supreme Kai Fua, Lord Champa, we failed you, I'm sorry. Kale said. Do not worry, Kale, we still have a chance to win. We still have Naruto, Sayonal and Purina fighting for us. Vados said. Hey, Sayonal and Purina, don't lose or I'm going to kick both of your asses, you hear me? Caulifla said. Caulifla, I think you're forgetting about Naruto. Kaba said. Shut up. No, I didn't. I can care less about what he does. Caulifla said, pushing past Kaba so she could sit next to Kale. You promised you would be nicer, Caulifla. Kale said. Yeah, whatever, I tried and it didn't work. Just drop it, Kale. Me and Naruto will never be friends again. Caulifla said. Kale didn't respond, she just sighed. You can do it, Naruto. Kale thought. He won. Man, that was close. Goku had me worried for a second. Krillin said. Given the circumstances, Goku made a wise choice. With his Ultra Instinct running out, he focused all of his power into that Kamehameha. Whis said. I doubt he'll be able to use that trick again with Naruto and Jiren still in the tournament. Roshi said. You're right, Master Roshi. If only Goku could attack while using Ultra Instinct. Tien said. That is the hard part of Ultra Instinct. Every skilled martial artist thinks a lot during battle, looking for weakness and coming up with the best assault. Goku's attacks were still not good enough because he was still trying to command his body to attack. Whis said. So if Goku could somehow manage to not think while using Ultra Instinct, we could have a better chance at winning. Tien asked. Yes, we would. However, we will not be seeing Ultra Instinct again during this tournament, I'm afraid. Whis said. Why not, Whis? Beerus asked. Because he's about to be eliminated. Whis said, pointing at Naruto, who was walking up to Goku. Fighting area. Goku fell down to one knee, breathing heavy as his Ultra Instinct wore off. He grabbed his chest in pain from the strain Ultra Instinct was doing to his body. I can't hold that form anymore. I feel like I'm out of energy. I need to rest up before I fight again. Goku said. Don't worry, you'll have plenty of time to rest on the bleachers. Naruto said. Goku stood up to his feet. Although he was wobbling, he managed to get into a fighting form. Naruto just stared at him with an amused look on his face. You've got guts, I can tell you that, but it's pointless. Unlike Jiren, I'm not going to toy around with you, and like Kefla did, I'm not going to get arrogant. Naruto said. Before Goku could respond, Naruto was already in front of him and elbowed him right in the gut. Goku coughed up blood and didn't have a chance for Naruto's next move. Naruto did a breakdance and kicked Goku's legs from underneath him. Naruto, still breakdancing, used the momentum he had and turned it into a heel kick right into Goku's stomach. Goku was in so much pain that he couldn't even scream out in pain. Goku saw a split opening and managed to kick Naruto away and fire some energy blasts at him. Goku powered up as much as possible and was barely able to turn Super Saiyan. He charged at Naruto with a punch only to have it blocked and get punched in the face. Goku recovered quickly and sent a kick at Naruto's head. Naruto grabbed his ankle and started slamming Goku into the ground and swinging him in the air before slamming him one last time. He slammed Goku so hard that he bounced off the ground, so Naruto grabbed him by the back of his head and dragged his face into some boulders, and you could see how far he dragged him. By the time this was over, Goku fell out of his Super Saiyan state and was barely conscious. Naruto dropped Goku to the ground and kicked him towards the edge of the ring. Goku managed to stop in time, but it was turned around and saw Naruto with a strong energy blast pointed right at him. Goodbye, Goku, Naruto said and blasted Goku out of the ring. Everyone from Universe 7 was shocked and worried since Goku was eliminated. Stands. Goku from Universe 7 has been eliminated. The Grand Priest said. Goku appeared on the bench unconscious and Krillin quickly fed him a Senzu bean. They watched as Goku's injuries healed up and he finally woke up. What happened? He asked. Sorry to tell you this, buddy, but you've been eliminated. Krillin said. Goku went silent and Krillin decided to give him some time to himself. He knew Goku was depressed and upset. After a few seconds, Goku spoke up. Damn it. If only I had enough power left, I could have fought him. Goku said as he punched the ground. Do not worry, Goku, you performed well. We still have Vegeta and your son in the tournament. If anything, your elimination will push them to fight harder. Whis said. Yeah, Goku, it's going to be alright. You can't win every fight in life. You just learn from it and move on. Roshi said. Whis, should we begin to worry now? Beerus asked in a calm voice. I'm afraid so. Goku was our best fighter and strongest fighter. With him gone, our elimination is almost undeniable at this point. Whis said. Whis, you're wrong. I'm not the strongest fighter on the team. Goku said. What do you mean? I trained you personally before the tournament started. I know you're the strongest. If it isn't you, then who is it? Whis asked. It's Gohan. You all may not have noticed, but he's holding back a huge amount of power. After I fought him back on Earth, nobody saw him for a whole day until we had to leave for the tournament. My guess is that he spent that day in the hyperbolic time chamber. Goku said. Surely you're joking, Goku. No offense, But Gohan has been making rookie mistakes all tournament, resulting in him facing close eliminations. Whis said. That's because he hasn't fought in a few years. After the whole Majin Buu problem, he stopped training and focused on school. When Frieza returned, that's the first time he's actually fought. He's a lot stronger than me, and this tournament will help him bring out his true potential. I don't know if it's going to be enough to face Jiren or Naruto, but it's a better chance than I could have given the team. Goku said. Beerus was about to respond to Goku, but then Caulifla started yelling. What the hell? He can't just come in and steal my elimination. Hey Naruto, that elimination belongs to me. I did all of the work, not you. Caulifla said. Perhaps you should calm down, Caulifla. Kaba said. I am calm. She exclaimed, unintentionally turning Super Saiyan. Okay, yeah, sure, if you say so. Kaba said, backing away. You know, Caulifla, you should really let your anger towards Naruto go. It's not good to keep that anger bottled up inside you. Perhaps after this tournament is over and if we win, I can have you two sit down and talk to each other. Vados said. I have nothing to say to him. I liked it better when I thought he was dead. Caulifla said. I doubt that is true, but I will not talk about the matter anymore. Vados said. Caulifla. Kale said. I'm sorry, Kale, but it's not happening now, drop it. Caulifla said. Fighting area. While all of that was going on, Naruto was looking up at the Omni Kings and noticed something, so he decided to speak on it. Hey, Zeno. I know you're friends with Goku, but he's eliminated. I didn't see you mark him off of your little chart. You can't play favorites now since he's gone. If you don't want to mark him off as eliminated, then I'm bringing Hit back into the fight. Naruto said. The Omni Kings didn't say anything. They really didn't want to mark Goku off. They were really looking forward to seeing him fight again. He is right, my lords. Rules are rules, you have to follow them, I'm afraid. The Grand Priest said. The Omni Kings looked at each other and then made the move. Bye bye, Goku. They said at the same time as they marked him off. Thanks. Naruto said. He walked off, but he didn't get far as he caught something that was coming towards him. He held it between his fingers and looked at it closely. It was a small green bug-looking fighter. I take it you're one of the last few fighters for Universe 4. He said. Hey, put me down so I can kick your. The bug creature said. Sorry. No can do. Naruto said and threw him out of the ring. Stands. Damon of Universe 4 has been eliminated. The Grand Priest said. Holy crap, how many eliminations does he have? Krillin asked. I believe that was elimination number 12 for him. Whis said. Seriously. He's taken out 15% of the competition himself. Krillin said. Yes, he's been eliminating fighters a lot. Most of them came in the first few minutes when he single-handedly took out 5 members of Universe 9. Whis said. Fighting area. Naruto was getting bored now. He wasn't running into anybody strong enough to lose as a challenge to him. He looked up and saw Android 18 eliminate Ribrianne. He looked in the stands and noticed Krillin talking to 18 and they were laughing and cheering with each other. He looked over to where his universe was sitting and made eye contact with Kale, who blushed and waved at him. He didn't wave back but simply walked away with a small smile on her face. Hellas saw the interaction between the two and smiled. She was the goddess that loved beauty and wanted to spread love. She instantly knew Kale and Naruto would be together forever. Who to fight now? He asked out loud. How about we fight you? A voice said. He looked up and 3 people landed in front of him. We are the last members of Universe 2 and we shall use our love to defeat you. One of them said. Naruto just stood there with a curious look on his face. He didn't know who they were, but they piqued his interest. So who are you? He asked. I'm Zerloin. A very large and muscular human-looking male with blue skin and red eyes said. I'm Rabanra. A human-looking figure with the top part of his body a dark orange and his legs a dark blue, pointed ears and a green dome on his forehead said. And I am known as Zarbuto. An old man with a white mustache and is clad in a red suit and white cap said. Okay. So are you sure you want to fight me? Naruto asked and all 3 of them nodded. We have our orders take you out since you are a threat to our universe winning this tournament. Zerloin said. Our beautiful maiden Ribrianne is counting us to defend the love of Universe 2 and that is what we shall do. Zarbuto said. Okay. Naruto said and kicked Rabanra away. Zerloin and Zarbuto charged at Naruto and he began blocking both of their attacks. Rabanra joined back in and also started attacking Naruto. Naruto managed to kick Zerloin away and focused on Rabanra and Zarbuto. We are now the last hope for Universe 2. Rabanra said as he was throwing punches at Naruto. We no longer need to be beautiful as we usually are. Even if we are battered and mocked for being ungainly. Zarbuto said, punching at Naruto as well. We fight to the end for love. Zerloin said, coming down with a double overhead strike. Naruto blasted them all away with his power and just looked at them. He had to admit these guys were actually good. Stands. Man, look at him. He's not even tired yet and now he's taking on 3 people from the second universe. Tien said. I know. It seems Lord Champa was not lying about the strength of Naruto. Whis said. The second universe has lost their best fighter and are now down to 3. They're in a real tough spot now. Champa said. Vados wanted to say something but she just looked at him with a smile on her face. He sensed her looking at him, immediately turned around. Yes Vados, I do have eyes and I know we're in the same predicament. So can you please stop nagging me already? He exclaimed. Come on. Get fired up and find a way. Sayonal. Purina, I swear if you don't do something I'm going to kick both of your asses. Caulifla said. Fighting area. No matter how many times you knock us down, we will always get back up. Zarbuto said as he began to glow. Do you hear that? Zerloin asked Rabanra. Oh yeah, I can hear it all right. The voices of our people cheering for our victory. Rabanra said. Stands. That's right, they're here. Feel it. Feel the love of the second universe behind you as you fight. Ribrianne said. Oh, what the hell is going on? Champa asked. Fighting area. I feel it. I feel the love. The wishes of everyone. It's resting on our shoulders. Zarbuto said, still glowing. Yes, it's almost too much for me to handle. But there is strength in that burden as well. I can't let them down. We've come so far in this tournament to lose now. Rabanra said, glowing as well. We must channel this love and turn it into power. We are the maidens warriors of love. We will not fail. Zerloin said, and they all were completely covered in the pink glow. Love, 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 love. All 3 of them chanted and then a bright light was seen coming from all of them. They began to transform inside of the light and everyone was waiting to see what happened. Take formation. Zerloin, Zerloin, Zerloin. Zerloin said as he got in his stance. Rabin, Rabin, Rabin. Rabanra. Rabanra said. Zarbuto. Zab Zarbuto. Zarbuto said. Happiness to one and all, I send you my love. Zerloin said he was somehow wearing the same clothes as Ribrianne. The thunder of the wild and roar of love. Rabanra said, wearing the same clothes Kakansa wore and his skin turned light blue. The strike of love with dreams and magic. Zarbuto said, wearing the same clothes Rosie wore. Transformation complete. All 3 of them said at the same time. Stands. They've transformed just like the maidens. Peru said. These are the miracles that only the heart can make possible. New beauties are born by the power of love. Hellas said. Fighting area. What the hell did I just witness? Naruto asked himself. You fight full of hatred and that cannot prevail. Zerloin said. At last you will get the judgment you deserve. Rabanra said. We will strike you all at once. Zarbuto said. With the hammer fist of love. Zerloin said. I guess I can play around. Prepare for the handsome Saiyan of Universe 6 Naruto. I am the toughest son of a bitch you will find in all of the cosmos. Prepare to be vanquished by my unmatched fury. Naruto said, getting in a superhero pose. Stand. Everyone in Universe 6 had their jaws on the ground except for Vados and Hit. Vados was cursing Naruto out in her mind without using bad words, of course. Hit meanwhile only had an eye twitch show his annoyance. What the hell was that? Champa asked. I told you all he would turn on us. He switched to Universe 2. Caulifla said. No, he isn't Caulifla. Kaba said. Well, I guess he's certainly in the spirit of things. Krillin said. Yeah, I know. For someone as powerful and ruthless as him, he certainly is acting a bit immature. Vados, do you know why he's doing that? Whis asked. Yes, I do. Naruto was exiled from Sadala as a kid at the age of 7. He spent the majority of his childhood by himself. He was friends with Kale and Caulifla, but something happened between them and then the friendship ended. So any chance he gets to act like a kid, he doesn't let it go by. It's his own way of coping with things. You should see him and Champa having their little arguments. Vados said. If he was friends with Kale and Caulifla, why is it so much blood between him and Caulifla? Krillin asked. It's not my story to tell. Vados said. She looked at Caulifla, who just rolled her eyes and looked away. So why was he exiled then? Can you tell us that? Tien asked. Unfortunately I can't. I had to promise him that I wouldn't tell anybody. A lot of the things he told me that had happened to him and that he had to do, really aren't pretty at all. I know I'm hard on him sometimes, but the majority of the time he has his moments where he just wants to be left alone. As my brothers and sisters can verify, an angel breaking a promise is one of the first things that can make an angel lose their status. If anything is to be spoken of, then it will have to be from Naruto himself. Vados said. Let's just watch the fights now. Caulifla said. Fighting area. Here we come, foul villain. Zerloin said. We shall win this contest. Rabanra said. Fueled by love. Zarbuto said. Second universe. Attack. All three of them said together and ran at Naruto. I'm really getting into this fight. Naruto said and met them in the middle. They began trading blows left and right. Naruto smiled and picked up the pace. He started attacking them at a much quicker and faster pace until he managed to kick them all away. All three of them came flying at him with a kick. He pushed them back with just his power and they landed up high on a boulder preparing their next attack. Well fought, Sixth Universe. Your strength has held up well against our power of love and passion. Zerloin said. Since you've been pushing us so far this fight, we shall push our energy to the maximum. Rabanra said. You have withstood a lot, but try to withstand this. Zarbuto said. We're sending you our feelings. Love. They all said and created a black heart in the air. Stands. Oh my, is it possible? Hellas said. What is that thing? Krillin asked as he watched Naruto shoot an energy blast at it and it was absorbed. It is most likely a gravitational singularity, taking what they call the weight of their love and concentrating it into a single point in space. Whis said. That's the elusive technique not even Rybrian or the maidens could achieve. Love can be all-consuming, it can paralyze and torment us with its intensity. As long those who master love can control its weight and unleash this mysterious attack. Hellas said. Fighting area. Pretty black hole. All three of them said. Naruto tried to move out of the way but he was sucked into the black hole. He tried to escape with instant transmission but had no luck. Look at that. Not even light can escape our love prison. Zarbuto said. It's so heavy that not even the ring can hold it. It's going to keep sinking layer by layer until it crashes through the bottom. Rabanra said. Our love has trapped you, Naruto of the Sixth Universe. It will pull you down to defeat. Zerloin said. Not bad, you three. I must say I'm extremely impressed that you were able to pull off such an attack. You guys are full of surprises. All that talk about love, I can actually understand it. Naruto said. You say you understand it, yet you are unable to counter our attack. Rabanra said. You say you know love and you understand it, however you do not. Your words of trickery will not work on us. Zerloin said. Well, you do have me there. I don't understand love, but then again, who does? Nobody can completely understand something that's different for everybody. But I'll tell you this. I met this girl 4 years ago. She's the sweetest girl I have ever met in my life. I visited her as much as I could over the past almost 5 years. We grew extremely close and she counts on me to keep her safe. I may not understand your version of love, but I do understand my own. That girl means the world to me and I will do anything to protect her. I promised I would see her after this tournament is over and I'm not breaking that promise. I won't let her down. He yelled and powered up to Super Saiyan 2, preparing to counter. He stretched his hands out to his sides and gathered a lot of energy. He placed his hands in front him and fired his attack. Majestic Destroyer Cannon. He said. The rainbow-colored drill-like attack at first went out in a wobbly motion, but as soon as it made contact with the final layer of the black hole, it began to crack through the black hole. Unknown to Naruto, this was an extremely important fight for Universe 2, 6 and 7. Sayonal and Pirina were in a power struggle against Piccolo and Gohan. That was an important battle because with Goku out of the tournament, Universe 7 needed Gohan and Piccolo. All three universes at risk were watching intently. Universe 2 had pink wands and were holding them in their hands, praying that they won. I can't let her down. Not now. Not ever. Naruto thought. With one final push, Naruto's attack blasted through the black hole and took out the last 3 remaining members of Universe 2. Coincidentally, on the other side, the power struggle between Sayonal, Pirina, Gohan, and Piccolo ended with Sayonal and Pirina losing. Stands. Sayonal and Pirina of Universe 6 have been eliminated. And Zerloin, Zarbuto, and Rabanra of Universe 2 have been eliminated. That means Universe 2 shall be terminated. The Grand Priest said, "You 3 did well. You should be proud. You showed our people your love and all its brilliance." Peru said, "If we cannot escape this fate, let us face it together with courage and most importantly with beauty." Hellas said, "Formation." Ribrian, Rosie, and Kakansa said and transformed. "Thank you. Thanks to each and every one of you out there who cheered us on." Ribrian said, "The second universe may cease to exist, but true love never dies and will live in your heart forever." Kakansa said, "As we face this last moment, we will face it with our normal goodbye." Ready, set. Rosie said, "Love." They all shouted together and we erased. "Oh dear, how can this be? We're down to one last competitor." Vados said, "Hey, what are you worried about, Vados? We still have Naruto as our last fighter. We'll be fine." Champa said, "Yes, I know, but I fear that the other universes will gang up on him now." Vados said, "I'm sorry, Caulifla, I guess we lost." Sayonal said, "Yeah, I guess you still want to kick our asses now, huh?" Pirina said, "Of course I am." Caulifla said before she could act. Kaba spoke up. "Holy shit." He said, "What is it, Kaba?" Caulifla asked. "Look at Naruto. He isn't a Super Saiyan 2 anymore." Kaba said. She looked and there stood Naruto in his Super Saiyan 3 form and then dropped it. "Holy shit, he's a Super Saiyan 3. What the hell is going on? How come he's a Super Saiyan 3 and I'm not?" Caulifla asked. "That's because Naruto has been able to go Super Saiyan since he was about 7. At the age of 11 he became a Super Saiyan 2 after he heard the news of a Dr. Bena's being murdered. At the age of I'd say 17 he discovered Super Saiyan 3. His training regime is brutal. He actually said he can go Super Saiyan Blue as well, but the speed decrease would go against his fighting style." Vados said, "Wait, so you're telling me he's been holding back strength this entire tournament? Who was his teacher before you started to train him?" Krillin asked. "Nobody. He trained himself and got this strong by himself. He would literally train until he was an inch away from death every day." Vados said, "Wow, and I thought Vegeta trained crazy. This guy takes the cake on that one." Goku said, "Let's not lose focus, we still have a tournament to watch." Whis said. They all nodded and turned back to the fighting arena. Fighting area. Naruto was walking around when he spotted the final member of Universe 4. "Well, what do we have here? It seems Universe 4 has a little stray. Now I'll give you 2 options. Either throw yourself over the edge, or I'll blast you over the edge, your choice." Naruto said. The last member of Universe 4 looked up at Quatella, who gave him a look that said he better fight. Naruto knew this person wasn't a fighter, so he wasn't going to waste energy on him. He just picked the person up and threw him out of the ring. Stands. Shanshua of Universe 4 has been eliminated. Therefore Universe 4 shall be obliterated. The Grand Priest said. Bye. Both Zeno said at the same time and erased Universe 4. Well, that makes 16 eliminations for Naruto. Vados said. That's 20% of the fighters taken out himself. Kaba said. I know, and we haven't seen anything yet. I'm waiting for him to fight Jiren. It seems Belmod can't wait for that fight either. Champa said, looking at Belmod, who had a serious look on his face. Yo, clown face, what's the matter? I heard you talking loud and clear earlier. How come I don't hear you now? Caulifla taunted. Don't worry, little girl, I'm not worried about your friend. I'm curious to know if Toppo will show his true power. Belmod said. How many times do I have to say this? He is not my friend. Caulifla said. Hey look, Universe 3 is making their move. Kaba said, making sure a fight doesn't break out. Fighting area. Naruto was standing on top of a boulder watching as Vegeta eliminated that annoying fighter from Universe 3, then went to help Gohan and Piccolo. He saw Gohan step forward and decide to take on 4 of the remaining 5 members from Universe 3 himself. He was doing good even when the 3 robots combined. Everything went wrong when Gohan lost his footing, causing Vegeta and Piccolo to step in. He's still rusty. He needs to relax and stop trying to fight like his father. Naruto said. Yeah, I know he should have been defeated them. Naruto turned around and saw 17 and 18 standing there. Oh hey guys. So what are you doing here? Naruto asked. Well, we were going to ambush you. 18 said. But we decided to watch and see how Gohan was doing. We've taken out their other fighters, so it's just those 4 left. 17 said. We heard he had a fight with his father and made him go blue but was still able to keep up with him. 18 said. He took a full-powered blow from Goku and was still able to throw an attack back at Goku but passed out before it could connect. 17 said. So we just want to know if he's gotten any stronger since he has an incredible growth rate not matched by anybody in our universe. 18 said. That's weird how you both just finished each other's sentences. Anyway, he needs a certain fight to push him past his limits. Right now, I would say he can fight Goku while using Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 on even grounds. He's holding himself back by having self-doubt and fighting completely different than how he usually does. Before this tournament is over, he just may surpass his father. Naruto said. They looked back at the fight and saw Gohan take out the combined robots with a powerful Kamehameha. Things turned ugly when the 3 combined robots merged with the only flesh teammate remaining from their team. They created some kind of huge android with a body with white layers on the skin on its head, neck, shoulders and chest area. In the center of its forehead is a large red gem which acts as its energy core. On both sides of his head are 2 elongated ear extensions with green gems underneath the tips. Its arms and the rest of its body is a darker color, ending at the base of the legs. The legs before the boots and hands at the base of the arm guards are purple. Its arms possess white shoulder guards with red gems on the top of the arms. In the center of its chest is a green gem. Stands. What the hell is that? Champa asked. That is Analyza, the ultimate weapon of Universe 3. Aya said. So your ultimate weapon is a mindless beast. What's so great about it? Belmod asked. Analyza has the ability to bend space by sheer force for an onslaught of attacks, and he can deflect any attack thrown at him because of the energy reactor on his head. Those are just 2 of his abilities. Not even Jiren or Naruto can stand up to him. Aya said. Looks like we're about to find out if one of them can stand up to this Analyza. Whis said. What do you mean Whis? Tien asked. Simple. Naruto's about to challenge Analyza. I wonder if he'll show his true strength. While he was in his Super Saiyan 3 transformation, I can tell he was still holding back a lot of power. Beerus said. Are you serious? The power I felt from him was a lot stronger than me in Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken X20. He's really that strong? Goku asked. Yes, he is. Naruto has only gone all out against me in his weekly spars. I must say each time he impresses me more and more. If he does in fact fight Jiren, then this will be a fight that would put some of the gods to shame. Vados said. Fighting area. Naruto stood by and watched as Analyza dismantled the remaining Universe 7 fighters with ease. They were all standing back up when Naruto arrived in front of them. What the hell do you think you're doing? Vegeta asked. I'm going to fight the big guy. Naruto said. Oh please, as if somebody like you can defeat this thing by yourself. You may as well step aside and let the Prince of all Saiyans handle this. Vegeta said. Vegeta, perhaps we should let him fight. Think about it this way, they could possibly take each other out, leaving us with the remaining 3 from Universe 11. Me and you are the strongest remaining on our team, so we can take Jiren while the others take on Toppo and Dispo. Even if we don't win, we still have numbers, so we can win if time runs out, as long as nobody gets eliminated. Gohan said. Very well, I'll accept those terms. However, I will be fighting Jiren alone, he's mine. Just because he kicked Kakarot's, doesn't mean he can do the same to me. Vegeta said. You do realize Goku's stronger than you, right? Naruto said. He is not stronger than me. Vegeta said. If you say so. Naruto said. Naruto looked at Analyza, and he was flying with wings he grew from his back. Analyza raised his hands and created a large attack. Naruto powered up to Super Saiyan and prepared his own attack. Analyza threw his attack and Naruto fired off his. They both met in the middle and the struggle began. Stands. It's no use for him to try and compete with Analyza. The energy reactor on his head will be able to match any amount of power Naruto puts into his attack. Universe 6 is as good as gone. Aya said. Damn it, Naruto. What the hell are you thinking? You idiot, now we're going to lose. Caulifla said. Don't be so sure, Caulifla. Naruto would only do this if he had a plan. So let's be patient and watch. Vados said. Fighting area. So you can adapt to any amount of power I use Let's test it out, shall we? Naruto said. He powered up to his full-powered Super Saiyan form and the energy reactor on Analyza started to glow, increasing the size of his attack. Naruto didn't back down. He powered up to Super Saiyan 2 at its fullest power and noticed the energy reactor cracked a bit, but the attack still grew. I can see that your reactor can't keep up. Come on now, let's keep this going. I'm sure my power shouldn't be a problem for you. Naruto said. Stands. Woohoo, go on Naruto. Show that so-called ultimate weapon who it's dealing with. Champa said. Do it Naruto. Kaba said. Caulifla, although she didn't express it, was cheering for Naruto on the inside. Kale on the other hand wasn't even paying attention to what was going on. She's been spacing out ever since Naruto eliminated Universe 2. Fighting area. I can't believe it. He's actually going to win using his energy reactor against him. 18 said. Naruto powered up again to Super Saiyan 3 but didn't need to use the full extent of his power in that form. The energy reactor on Analyza of course reacted to the power Naruto was putting out. This time though, the energy Naruto put out was too much and the reactor shattered from not being able to keep up with the power. Stands. No. How could this happen? Analyza is supposed to be great. Aya said. Finish it off Naruto. Champa said. Knock him off the edge. Kaba said. Kick his. Champa yelled. Kale this time still didn't say anything. She looked as if she was in deep thought and wasn't paying attention to the fight. Vados noticed this but didn't say anything. Fighting area. Oh hell yeah. Naruto yelled. He let out one final push and his attack tore through Analyza's and sent him over the edge, eliminating him. Naruto powered down and then ducked out of the way from Piccolo's outstretched arm. He appeared in front of Piccolo in a quick burst of speed and shook his head. This is the thanks I get for saving your asses. Oh well. Goodbye Piccolo. He said and blasted Piccolo out of the ring. Stands. Bororetta, Paparoni, Panchia and Koitsukai of Universe 3 have been eliminated. Piccolo of Universe 7 has been eliminated. This means Universe 3 shall be eliminated. The Grand Priest said. I'm sorry Lord Mosco. Please forgive us. Paparoni said. It's okay Paparoni. It might not have gone the way we would have liked, but you all performed well and that's all we could ask for. Let's just accept our fate. No regrets are needed. Aya said. Just then the robot suit Mosco was in opened up and he stepped out. Thank you for everything you've done, Campari. I really appreciate it. Bye. Mosco said and they were all erased. He came out in the end. I can't help but have nothing other than respect for him. Campari said. 3 universes remain with Universe 6 having only one remaining fighter. Eric said. Yes I know. With Jiren remaining as well as Toppo who is being groomed to become the next god of destruction, I don't see how he can win this. Likier said. This tournament has been quite interesting. Although I'm a bit disappointed Jiren didn't participate more, Naruto has been exceptional. Geen said. Lord Champa, how impressed are you with Naruto and his performance? Vados asked. I'm more impressed than I thought I would be. I thought he would come and do what Jiren's doing. Champa said. So we have to put all of our faith in Naruto? Kaba asked. Yes we do. Hit said. Well I don't like it. I would rather lose than have to count on him. Caulifla said. Well that's too bad little girl. If you didn't want to count on him you shouldn't have been eliminated. Now sit back and watch the fight. Hit said. I'm not doing a damn thing you tell me to do. Caulifla said. Caulifla shut up. Kale exclaimed and everyone was surprised. Kale I was just being honest. Caulifla said. I don't care. Just shut up, please. Kale yelled and then placed her head in her hands. Mom, can you hear me? Naruto spoke telepathically to Vados. Yes Naruto, I can hear you. What do you need? Vados asked. Can you check on Kale for me? As I'm sure you've noticed already, she's being more quiet than usual. Plus that outburst of hers only happens when she's agitated. Find out what's wrong with her for me please. Naruto replied. Sure I'll ask her. Now, focus on the tournament, you're the universe's last hope. Good luck son. Vados replied. She was more confident in their victory now that he's taken out 3 universes basically by himself. The only thing she was worried about was the threat of Jiren being around and the fact that he might get ganged up on. Fighting area. Naruto, after talking to Vados, went over to where the other two universes were having a stare-off. He was on top of a tall boulder and just sat there with an elbow on his knee and his chin resting on his hand. He decided to watch and listen to what they had to say. I guess having Naruto take out Analyza was a good plan, Gohan. Too bad they couldn't take each other out. 17 said. Yeah, I know. We should probably team up to take him out. 18 said. No, it would have to be me and Vegeta to take him out. Same goes for Jiren. Gohan said. I'm not taking orders anymore. You may be the leader of this team, but you will not give me orders anymore. I'm taking on Jiren and then I'll take on Naruto. Vegeta said. Gohan was going to respond, but that's when Universe 11 made their presence be known. It looks like you're done talking finally. No matter what plan you come up with, it won't work. Dispo said. So you've finally decided to show your faces. I was beginning to think you were too chicken to fight since all you did was hide for the entire tournament. Vegeta said. Tell me, how did the last victory you'll ever experience feel? You can try all you want, but like Goku, you will fail against me. Jiren said. We haven't lost yet, so we wouldn't know how a last victory tastes. But you will know what it's like soon enough. Gohan said seriously. Nobody said anything and just stared at each other. Naruto was just sitting on top of the boulder, still watching for who would make the next move. The tension in the air between the two universes was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Everybody knew one thing though. One of these three universes will be victorious, and right now Universe 7 has numbers on their side with 4 remaining fighters. With Naruto taking out 3 universes by himself, it seemed he had all of the momentum at the moment and didn't look like he would be stopping anytime soon. The atmosphere was tense as the remaining fighters from the last 3 universes stared one another down. Nobody was moving and the wind was blowing, clearing out all of the smoke and dust that was floating around. Up in the stands, everyone was tense and anxious at the same time. It's down to the 6th, 7th and 11th universe now. I wonder which universe will win. Zeno said. Yes, I am wondering that too. The other said. This battle will be a sight to behold. Although with so few spectators, the stands look a bit empty. The Grand Priest said. Yes, look at all the benches. Both Zenos said at the same time. I believe I can do something about this. The Grand Priest said. He clapped his hands together and then the bench started to shrink. Everyone on the bench was a bit scared because of the sudden movement. After a few seconds, the bench shrunk down to a size big enough to fit all 3 of the remaining universes and angels. Belmod, Champa and Beerus all gave each other a nasty glare while the Supreme Kais simply looked at each other. I hope this looks better, Your Majesties. The Grand Priest said. Oh yes, I like it. One Zeno said. Yes, they aren't sitting so far apart now. The other said. Look at us all together, this is downright cozy. Whis said. Yes, it's quite a change. Though Vados, I'm sure you'll be sitting by yourself pretty soon since you're down to 1 fighter. It seems you have been getting quite cozy to the 7th universe. Have you already picked a new home? Makarita said mockingly. Well, now I don't know about all of that. After all, our last fighter has already embarrassed your last 3 fighters by himself. I'm sure Naruto will pull this through for us. Once your universe loses, we have plenty of space left for you to join. Vados said. The time clock is almost in its final section, Your Majesties. The winner will be determined pretty soon. The Grand Priest said. The 3 remaining universes should be commended. Not only for showing impressive power in their battles but also for showing ingenuity and the willingness to adapt and do whatever it takes to survive. Anato said. Hey look, they're about to start fighting. Looks like Jiren's stepping up. Goku said. Fighting area. Goku was right about them about to start. Jiren began walking forward, willing to take on any challenger who stepped up to him. Vegeta was about to step forward until a hand on his shoulder made him stop. He turned around and was about to unleash on whoever stopped him, but saw it was Gohan, who had a certain look in his eye that he hasn't seen since the Cell games. He stepped back and Gohan walked forward, meeting Jiren in the middle, and they both had a stare down. Well, this will be interesting. It seems Gohan's got his fighting mojo back. Naruto thought. Stands. Does that wimp really think he stands a chance against Jiren? Belmod asked while laughing. Goku, Have you noticed anything different about Gohan? Piccolo asked. Yeah, he has that same look in his eye from when he was fighting Cell. Goku said. What does that mean, Goku? Whis asked. It means we're about to see the real Gohan. The Gohan who was willing to fight without holding back. I may be eliminated, but if I had to put my money on anybody to have the best chance for our survival, it's Gohan. Goku said. Well, he better not disappoint me. Beerus said. Isn't he the one Naruto was interested in, Vados? Champa asked. Yes, he is. Naruto doesn't really take note of fighters, but he took notice of Gohan's ability. Vados asked. Alright, everybody buckle up. This will be one of the most important battles in the history of the cosmos. Roshi said. Fighting area. Gohan and Jiren were having a stare down, and after Roshi spoke, that's when Gohan made his move. He powered up to his mystic form and kept raising his power level. It soon reached the level of Goku in his Super Saiyan God form, then reached up to the point of Goku in his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken X10 form. Jiren, sensing this, quickly rose his power level to match Gohan, and they both blasted off into the air. Show us the true warrior you were always meant to become, Gohan. Vegeta said. Up in the air, Gohan and Jiren were trading punches and kicks while also blocking each other's attacks. Jiren was impressed, although he didn't say it. He never expected Gohan to be this good. He decided to question his purpose for fighting. Tell me, young warrior, what drives your quest for strength? Jiren asked. I have a family at home, a wife and daughter that is barely a year old. They are my light and what keeps me motivated. What drives you to grow stronger? Gohan asked, still trading punches with Jiren. I seek to achieve something that is beyond strength. Jiren said. I can respect that. I guess we'll just have to see whose purpose and drive for strength will carry them to victory, and I can tell you now, I don't give up so easily. Gohan said. Stands. Contestant Gohan versus contestant Jiren. This is an unusual fight I'm sure none of us have seen coming. But if Gohan has stepped up to fight him, then the fate of his universe rests on his hands. Same goes for Jiren. The Grand Priest said. Wow, I'm impressed. I didn't think Gohan would be this good against Jiren. He's making Jiren use quite the amount of power right now. Beerus said. Yes, that is true. However, I'm feeling Gohan's power level increasing as the fight goes on. He's closing in on Goku at his maximum level without Ultra Instinct. Jiren is also sensing this and is currently raising his power level as well. Whis said. Fighting area. After a few more punches and kicks traded, Gohan and Jiren broke apart and landed away from each other. Alright, that's good enough for a warm-up. Are you ready for round 2, Jiren? Gohan asked. Before Jiren could speak up, Vegeta came flying by Gohan in his Super Saiyan Blue form. He came in like a raging bull and Jiren was his target. Alright Jiren, you've had your fun. Now it's time you face me like a man. Vegeta said. Naruto. Is there a reason why you're trying to sneak up on me? Naruto asked. I'm here to eliminate you. Dispo said. You and what army? I've already kicked your, or do you not remember? Naruto asked. The results won't be the same as last time. I've been watching you fight. I know all of your patterns. Dispo said. Yeah, you and your other buddies you call Pride Troopers did nothing but run away. I'm not worried about you or Toppo. I'm interested in Jiren. He's the strongest person in your universe and I'm pretty sure he can't wait to fight me. Naruto said. Then you'll have to get through me first. Dispo said. That's not a problem with me. Naruto said. Dispo used his superior speed, or what he thought was his superior speed, and went for a kick to the back of Naruto's head. Imagine his surprise when the kick went straight through Naruto. What the? Dispo said. Come on. I thought you were going to actually hit me. Naruto said. Dispo took offense to the taunting and sped up his attacks. None of them were connecting, and before he threw his last punch, he was kicked from behind through a couple of rocks and slid on the ground. He looked up and saw Naruto still sitting there and realized he hadn't moved an inch. Dispo stood up, but then he felt blood coming from his face. What the hell is going on? Dispo asked as he wiped the blood off. 3 punches to the face and a simple kick to the back. I can't believe the so-called fastest person in the tournament didn't see it coming. Naruto said as he stood up. You didn't hit me in the face. All you did was simply kicked me in the back. Dispo said. Fine, I'll do it again, but this time I'll slow it down for you. Naruto said. Naruto used his speed and hit Dispo 3 times in the face again but missed the kicks since Dispo managed to move out of the way. He knew how Dispo used his speed and he had something planned for it. He just wanted Dispo to go full out and he knew exactly how to do it. So I'm guessing since you managed to move out of the way, you were able to tell I really hit you 4 times. Naruto said. It won't happen again. Dispo said. Dispo powered up to half strength and used his speed to punch Naruto in the face. Naruto decided to play around and acted like the punch hurt him. Dispo, not knowing his plan, quickly hit Naruto with a barrage of kicks and punches while moving extremely fast. He managed to kick Naruto through a large boulder and it broke apart, collapsing on top of Naruto. Stands. Naruto, why are you letting him beat you up? Vados asked him telepathically. Because, I'm waiting for him to go full power. I want to use that against him at full power. I'm fine though, Mom. Thanks for asking. Naruto said the last part sarcastically. Don't take that tone with me, young man. I may be in the stands, but after this tournament is over, I can still punish you. Now stop toying around. These benches aren't exactly comfortable. Vados said. Mom, you're a freaking angel. I've seen you make clothes using your powers. You mean to tell me you can't make yourself a cushion or something to sit on? Naruto said. I hadn't thought of that. Goodbye, Naruto. Vados replied. Good boy. What the hell does she think I am? A dog? Naruto said. You know I can still hear you, right? Vados said. Love you, Mom. Naruto replied. Love you too, but that's not going to save you. Vados said. Alright, fine. I'll deal with the punishment later. But hey, have you found out why Kale's upset? Naruto asked. I'll ask her now. Vados said. Hey Champa, looks like Naruto isn't as tough as you claim he is. Belmod said, laughing. I'm not worried. Naruto knows what he's doing. He did this same tactic to me before. Champa said. Wait a minute. Naruto being stronger than you was actually true. Kaba asked. Yes, it's true. However, I do not know by how much. Champa said. I mean, he has to be way stronger than you if he's a Super Saiyan 3. Caulifla said. Not true. The first time he fought me, he beat me without transforming. Champa said. What? How is that possible? His base form must be crazy strong then. Goku said. No, I was able to easily handle him in his base form. He said he was able to power up to his maximum at that time while not transforming. He has such good control over his ki that it's almost scary the things he can do with it. Champa said. Whoa, I'm lucky I didn't have to fight him when he walked up to me. Krillin said. I'd have to agree. With the amount of power you say he could have, I'm surprised he hasn't just eliminated all of the competition himself. Tien said. He doesn't like quick boring battles. He likes to draw them out. Although he did just eliminate like 3 universes himself. The only person I can see actually making him work for his win is Jiren. Besides, he came in here with a plan. He wanted other universes to show off their strength in hopes that Zeno wouldn't erase them. Sadly, his plan didn't work, so now he has no choice but to eliminate competitors. Dispo will be the next to fall by his hands. Vados said. I don't see how Dispo will fall by his hands, Vados. Naruto's barely keeping up with him. I know he's your son and all, but don't you think you're overhyping him just a bit? Makarita asked. He's your son? Caulifla asked. Not in the traditional way. When he arrived on Earth, I always kept a close eye on him, checking his wounds after training or giving him clothes. When I first saw him, I was just being nice, but over the years the bond we shared with one another grew to that of a mother and son. Vados explained. Oh, so I have a nephew. I can't wait to actually meet him. Whis said. Actually, Whis, he doesn't like you. He said you're weird and thinks you might touch him in his sleep. Vados said, and everybody started laughing. Even the Grand Priest chuckled a bit. What? I most certainly will not. Whis exclaimed. Well, Vados, who does he like out of all of us? Cuss asked. Well, he likes me, of course. He likes you, Cuss, because you're so small and cute. You remind him of somebody really close to him. He likes Cognac even though he hasn't met him because according to him, your name reminds him of alcohol. Which reminds me I have to beat him for that. I told him no drinking. Vados said in an evil tone, making everyone back away from her. Vados. Champa asked. Yes. She asked sweetly. Is it too late to tell you that he has a stash of alcohol on my planet? Champa asked. Champa, you snitch. You stooged me out. Naruto yelled, coming out of the rubble. Oh, shut up. I'm not getting in trouble because of you. You know Vados hates drinking. Champa yelled. I'm going to kick your after this is over. Naruto yelled back and then paled after he realized what he said. Vados, he swore at me. Champa yelled. Are they seriously arguing about this right now? Krillin asked. I know, he's acting more immature than Goku. Tien said. Hey you baldy and you three-eyed freak. He snitched on me. Naruto yelled. Naruto. Vados said sweetly. Yes mom. Naruto said, shrinking away. What did I tell you about swearing and drinking? She asked. Not to do it. He replied. Clearly you disobeyed me. Now, after this tournament is over, whether we lose or not, you are going to face severe consequences. Do you understand me? She asked and he nodded, looking like a sad puppy. Good. Now, for the last person he likes out of all of us. Coincidentally, it's you, Makarita. Vados said. Me. Why? Makarita asked. He said you remind him of a character from a cartoon he watches on Earth. Something called Batman. Claims you remind him of a character named Harley Quinn with your hairstyle. Vados said. She does. See, look. I have a picture of Harley Quinn. Naruto said, pulling a picture out of his pocket, throwing it to Vados. I'm not even going to ask why you have this in your pocket. But, he does have a point. You do look like her, Makarita. Vados said and passed the picture around. I guess I do look like her. She seems crazy. I don't know if I should be insulted by this or take it as a compliment. Makarita said. If you all would please be quiet, we have a tournament to continue. The Grand Priest said. Oh sorry father. Vados said. Vados made herself a cushion to sit on and made some food come out of her staff. She leaned back and started eating. Everyone seeing this just looked at her. What? He's rubbed off on me a little bit. She said, shrugging her shoulders. Fighting area. Naruto was standing there with tears in his eyes watching Vados eat. That's my emergency food. I can't believe she's eating it. He said. Are you really crying over some stupid food? Dispo asked with a smirk. That was the wrong thing to say. What did you just say? Naruto asked in a deadly voice. I said stop crying over some stupid food. After I'm done with you, you won't even need food anymore. Dispo said. That's what I thought you said. Naruto replied. Naruto powered up to Super Saiyan, and before Dispo could react, Naruto already kicked him away, flying through boulders. Naruto appeared behind him and kicked him up in the air. He jumped up above Dispo and gave him an overhead hammer fist, sending him to the ground. Naruto followed this up by sending multiple small energy blasts at Dispo. Stands. Everyone was shocked at what Naruto just did because he looked like he was just losing the fight. He did all of that because of Dispo insulting some of his food. Makarita said. There's one thing you should know about Saiyans, Makarita. They don't play around when it comes to food. Vados said, eating still. But aren't you eating Naruto's food right now? Kus said. I am, and I'm not sorry for it. He can cook really well. Besides, he won't do anything to me. I'm one of the exceptions. Vados said. Who else is the exception? Kus asked. The girl he was talking about before he eliminated Universe 2. She's the only other person that I know of who's allowed to eat his food without any problems. Vados said, and Kale unintentionally turned Super Saiyan. Kale, are you alright? Caulifla asked. I'm fine. She said. Are you sure? Kaba asked. Yes. Kale exclaimed. Then can you power down from Super Saiyan? Caulifla asked. Oh, I didn't even notice it. Kale said and powered down. Belmod, I don't hear you over there cheering anymore. What's the matter? Losing hope for your fighter? Champa taunted. Fighting area. Dispo stood up and was badly beaten with his uniform ripped up. He stood there glaring at Naruto for making him look like a joke. Naruto just stood there with a smile on his face. How dare you? This is the Pride Trooper's uniform, and for me to wear it in such a way is disgraceful. Dispo said. I really don't care. I'm sure one of your little trooper pals all lend you an extra one. The uniform is actually ugly. I mean, who the hell picked it to be a full body suit? It clings to your body, leaving nothing to the imagination, and from what I'm seeing, you have nothing to imagine. Are you sure you're not a girl? Naruto asked. Up in the stands, Caulifla was laughing her off. Other people wanted to laugh, but they held it in. Do not patronize me. I am one of the Pride Troopers. We defend the world against evil. We are the protectors of our universe. I will not fall to somebody like you. I'm done playing around. This fight ends now, Dispo said, and was surrounded by a purple aura. Oh, that seems interesting. I'm guessing this is you at your full power. It's not much of an improvement. Naruto said. This is my super maximum light speed mode. Dispo said. That's kind of a long name. You should shorten it a bit. Naruto said and powered down from Super Saiyan. What's the matter? Are you quitting already? I haven't even begun to fight you yet. Dispo said. Nah. I just want to see what this mode of yours has to offer before I make my move. Naruto said. Dispo grit his teeth and just disappeared before everyone's eyes. Next thing everyone knew, Naruto was being flung around like a pinball, but they couldn't see Dispo hitting him. Naruto, although was getting beaten, was doing quite fine. He wasn't taking any damage, which proved his point. Dispo has speed, but he doesn't have the power to match it in this form. Dispo continued his assault, and each time he hit Naruto, his grin grew more and more as he pushed him back towards the edge. I think I've seen enough. Naruto thought. Dispo went for a straight jab and Naruto caught his fist like it was nothing. What? How are you able to catch my fist? Dispo asked. Simple, you aren't as strong as you think you are. Naruto said and kicked Dispo away. Stands. It's impossible to catch Dispo in that form. Not even Toppo can catch him, and he's training to become the next god of destruction. Belmod said. What about somebody as strong as Jiren? Or possibly stronger than him? Champa said. I think it's time you tell us exactly how strong Naruto is, Champa. We already know how strong Jiren is. Beerus said. I've already told you. I simply don't know how strong he is. I wasn't lying when I said that. He's simply that strong. I don't even know if Vados can tell you how strong he is, and she spends the most time with him. Champa said. Well, dear sister, do you know how strong Naruto is? Whis asked. Sadly, I do not. The last time I gauged his strength was his full power Super Saiyan 3 form, and it was just barely stronger than Lord Champa, but that was quite some time ago. He's been training in private for almost a year now and forced me to promise I wouldn't spy on him or check on his power level. Vados said. Oh, and how exactly did he force you to make that promise? Makarita said. He said he wouldn't cook for me anymore. I don't know about all of you, but I'd rather make that promise than lose out on his cooking. Vados said, eating an ice cream sundae. His cooking must be really good when you put it like that. Kuss said. Vados, if I may ask a question. Roshi said. Of course. Vados said. If you had to guess, who do you really think has a chance at beating Naruto? Roshi asked. Well, if I'm being honest, adding in how easily Naruto grows in strength plus the year of private training and how brutal his training is, I'll have to say either Lord Beerus, and if not him, then only us angels, the Grand Priest and King Zeno. Vados said. Are you serious? Krillin asked. Yes, I'm very serious. Vados said. What about me if I was to use Ultra Instinct? Do I stand a chance against him? Goku asked. No, you wouldn't stand a chance. He possibly can use Ultra Instinct himself. During a few of our training spars, the same thing happened to him like with you against Jiren and Kefla. However, unlike you, each time he used it, it became easier for him to access. But he has the same problem as you. He couldn't attack in that form, only dodge. Vados said. You mean to tell me, he's already mastered the dodging aspect of Ultra Instinct? Beerus said. I do not know Lord Beerus. As I've said before, he's been training in secret for almost a year. We would have to wait and see what he can do. Vados said. Fighting area. Well, I think it's time I made my move now. I hope your speed mode can keep up. Naruto said. He closed his eyes and relaxed his body, and before everyone knew it, the same heat that came from Goku earlier was now coming from Naruto. Naruto stood there completely relaxed, and when he opened his eyes, they were now silver, and he had the same aura around him as Goku did. Naruto activated Ultra Instinct. Big deal. I've already seen this technique in action. I can easily keep up with it. Don't forget, I rely on your muscles tensing before a movement, so I'll be able to easily beat you. Now prepare to fall at the hands of the Pride Troopers. Dispo said. Naruto didn't say anything, he just stood there and waited. Dispo being made the first move and went in for a straight punch, and Naruto dodged it while also punching Dispo in the gut. Naruto took advantage of this and did a backflip, kicking Dispo in the chin and followed it up with a spinning heel kick, sending him flying away. Dispo recovered and looked up, but had to move out of the way because Naruto came flying down at him with a punch that contained a lot of power. Naruto was quicker, and as soon as Dispo moved, Naruto was right behind and kicked him in his back hard, and Dispo thought he felt something pop. Naruto appeared in front of Dispo and placed an open palm on his stomach and blasted him away. Dispo went flying back into a boulder but didn't go through it. "That's it. I've had enough," Dispo exclaimed. He powered up, and this time his purple aura grew larger. Unknowingly, Naruto powered up as well, causing a tremendous amount of heat to surround the entire area. Unknown to him, the angels and gods were looking at him closely, wondering if he was going to do it. Dispo wasted no time charging in at Naruto, who barely had enough time to react. Naruto ducked out of the way and then quickly spun around and blocked Dispo's punch with one of his own. They both stared at each other for a few seconds before they both vanished. They fought all around the ring, creating shockwaves, and even got in the way of 17 and 18 vs Topo. The fight was crazy and everyone had their eyes on it. Well tried to some couldn't see the fight going on because they were moving so fast. After a while they reappeared and Dispo was looking worse for wear. His clothes were torn, looking like shorts, and he was bleeding from cuts all over his body. What was also surprising is he was no longer surrounded by his purple aura. His super maximum light speed mode had worn out. Naruto powered down from Ultra Instinct and spoke up. "Well, that was fun. Unfortunately, it's time for you to be eliminated," Naruto said. Before Dispo could respond, Naruto powered up to Super Saiyan 2 and kicked him in the gut, sending him flying away. Naruto shot multiple energy blasts at Dispo, each connected, but they were all weak. Dispo stood up and before he could move he collapsed to the ground. What did you do to me?" Dispo asked. "Those small energy blasts, although they were weak, they each targeted a specific point on your body. Each one hit a small weak point on your body, and the final blow would be when you tried to stand up. I can tell you're in pain because I hit your pressure points. It's over for you, Dispo. You weren't that bad actually as a fighter, but you need more than just speed to beat me," Naruto said. Naruto created a small rainbow orb in his hand and threw it at Dispo. "Majestic grenade," Naruto said. The orb exploded right in front of Dispo, who couldn't move, and sent him flying over the edge. Dispo was eliminated from the Tournament of Power. Stands. Dispo of the 11th universe has been eliminated. The Grand Priest said. Vados, I thought you said he couldn't use Ultra Instinct. Whis said. Correction. I said he couldn't fully use Ultra Instinct. Vados said. He's close to using it to its fullest potential. Why doesn't he just try to master it to its fullest potential? Beerus asked. Because it would harm his body. The first few times he's used it he came out with severe exhaustion, torn muscles and ligaments, as well as broken bones. The stress it would put on his body is too much to handle right now. Vados said. Who do you think he's going after next? Piccolo asked. Nobody. He most likely won't fight anybody unless it's Jiren. The only way I can see him fighting again is if he's challenged by somebody. Gohan and Vegeta are busy fighting Jiren at the moment, and 17 and 18 are fighting Toppo. He'll just relax for now and observe the fighting around him. Vados said. I still don't like how I have to put all my faith into him. But, I guess I have no choice. Right, Kale? Caulifla asked. Huh. Oh yeah, sure, complete faith in him to win this for us. Kale said. Are you okay, Kale? You seem out of it. Caulifla asked. I'm fine. Kale said. You sure? Caulifla asked. Yes, I'm sure. I'm just focused on the tournament. Kale said. Vados looked at Naruto and he nodded in Kale's direction. Vados, getting the hint, simply nodded back to him. Kale, it's me, Vados. Don't freak out or anything. Speak in your mind if you can hear me. Vados said telepathically. Yeah, I can hear you. Is there something you need? Kale asked. Yes, Naruto would like to know what's wrong with you. Please do not lie. I am good at telling if you are or not. So tell me what's wrong. He can't really focus if you're angry at something. Vados said. Fine. Who is the girl he's talking about? I thought he was single. Kale said. Trust me when I say this, Kale. The girl he's talking about is nothing more than a sister-type sibling for him. She's only, I'd say, about 12 to 13 now. She's probably closer to him than I am. He spends as much time with her as possible. Vados said. Then why did he make it seem like he loves her or something? He knows I've been hurt before, so why would he say that stuff about her? Kale asked. Because he does love her. There are different types of love out there, Kale. Naruto's love for her is in a sibling type of way. His love for you is a romantic type of way. I know all about your Saiyan ways of love, so let me ask you something. When you kissed Naruto before we came here, did you feel instant fireworks? Or did you feel like he was just another guy? Vados asked. I felt fireworks when we kissed and even more the further we went. Kale said and started to blush. Then I'm sure Naruto felt the same way. You have to remember, until you came back into the picture, the only people Naruto had in his life to bring love out of him was me and the little girl he was talking about. Please don't be mad at him. He's not really good with the whole love thing yet. Vados said. Kale didn't respond, but Vados knew she got her point across. Deep down she wanted Kale and Naruto to work out. Since she was an angel, having a family of her own was out of the question, so she had to settle on her adopted son Naruto, and she hoped his soon-to-be wife Kale. The more she thought about it, the more she realized what this meant for her. Grandbabies. She yelled in her mind. So, Belmod, how's it feel knowing you're down to only 2 fighters now? Champa asked. You shouldn't talk, Champa. After all, you only have 1 fighter left. Belmod retorted. 1 fighter or not, Naruto has proven to be a force to be reckoned with. I'm beginning to wonder if Jiren should have actually fought him earlier. Maybe if they fought, Naruto would be tired and would be easy to take out. Makarita said. I don't think so, Makarita. For some reason I believe Naruto is hiding something. Kus said. Yeah, I know what you mean. Roshi said. What do you mean, Master Roshi? Krillin asked. Think about it, Krillin. Naruto's been able to go in and out of all of his transformations and he doesn't even look tired. He's hiding something, but the question is, what exactly is he hiding? Roshi said. He is hiding something and not even I know what it is. I can't believe it. I've practically raised him his entire life and he's keeping a secret from me. Vados said. Oh, you mean like how you were his 4 stacks of ribs he cooked and had saved for his lunch? Champa asked. Vados looked at Champa with a shocked expression and then to Naruto. When she looked at Naruto, the look on his face made her feel bad. He had a look of hurt and betrayal on his face. I'm sorry, Naruto, but you cooked them the way I like them. On top of that, you slathered extra barbecue sauce on them. Vados said, and Naruto just turned his head and walked away towards the other fights. Fighting area. Naruto walked around and looked at the other fights remaining. He briefly stopped by the fight with 17 and 18 vs Toppo. It wasn't that impressive, but he had to admit that 17 and 18 had tremendous teamwork and they could most likely give most people a tough time. He moved on and stopped to watch the fight between his fellow Saiyans and Jiren. This should be interesting, he thought. Jiren just tossed Vegeta away, but he quickly recovered and charged back at Jiren. Jiren decided to use the same tactic and throw out multiple quick-paced punches that worked on Goku and that worked on Gohan during this 2-on-1 assault. However, he was dealing with Vegeta and he's already seen the attack more than once, so he wouldn't fall for that attack. That's a bad move, Jiren. That's not going to work against Vegeta, he's already seen this attack more than once. Naruto thought. Just like Naruto thought, the move didn't work. In fact, Vegeta easily saw through it and broke through Jiren's guard, catching him with a stiff punch to the kidney. Jiren, along with everyone else in the stands, were momentarily stunned that his guard was broken. Jiren looked down at Vegeta, who just looked up at him with a smirk on his face. Gohan, who was standing by watching this, was also impressed. Naruto took note of Gohan and noticed he was a bit rougher up, clothes torn and a few scrapes. I got you now, you son of a bitch. Vegeta thought. Vegeta, after he had broken through Jiren's guard, smirked at him and went on the offensive. Vegeta started attacking Jiren with quick punches, giving him no time to recover. Jiren was hard pressed and appeared to actually be struggling, but Naruto and the Supreme Kai of Universe 11 knew better. Stands. I have to wonder. Whis said. Wonder what? Do tell us, Whis. Vados said. I wonder if Vegeta could have another motivation for challenging Jiren. Perhaps this is a catalyst for him unlocking Ultra Instinct. Whis said, shocking everyone. That would make sense. The way he was dodging Jiren's attacks, I wonder if he's knocking on the door. Beerus said, if that's your guess then you both would be dead wrong. Naruto said having heard what they said. Oh, and how would you know? Beerus asked. Because Vegeta lacks the elegance and grace and mindset to use Ultra Instinct. He's more of a power fighter. The type of person that wants to overwhelm his opponent with relentless attacks. In order for him to unlock Ultra Instinct, he would have to go against everything he stands for. I can tell that Vegeta is a prideful man and would rather die than try to be something he isn't. Naruto said. Then perhaps you can explain how he dodged similar to Goku when he was using Ultra Instinct. Piccolo said. Of course I can. Vegeta only dodged those attacks because he's already seen the attack more than once. This has nothing to do with Ultra Instinct. Not everybody can unlock it, let alone master it. If my conversations with Champa are actually true, then only two gods can use it, Beerus and Gin. I'm sure the angels can use it as well. Me and Goku are the only known mortals who have been able to use it. Although the big difference between me and him is that I don't have to be completely drained of energy in order to use it. I doubt he'll be able to do it again anyway for a long time. Naruto said. Wow, Whis, look at that. You pride yourself on being the wisest angel and you were shut down by a mortal who hasn't even known about the technique that long. Makarita said laughing. Fighting area. Vegeta was continuing his assault on Jiren and managed to kick him away. He teleported away and Jiren thought he was going behind him so he threw a back fight hoping to catch Vegeta like he did earlier. Imagine his surprise when he was kicked hard in the gut by Vegeta. You were moving faster and punching stronger against Gohan and now you lower your power when fighting me. I take offense to that and I demand you fight me the same way. Vegeta said. Bad move because as soon as he said that Jiren punched him in the face. Vegeta managed to correct himself and didn't multiple backflips getting himself together and fired a Gallic gun at Jiren. Jiren ran forward and slapped away the Gallic gun like it was nothing and punched Vegeta in the face 3 times before uppercutting him into the air. Jiren appeared above Vegeta and punched him back down to the ground. Before Vegeta could recover, Jiren shot him with an energy blast that was on course to eliminate him. Vegeta was struggling with the blast and at the last second he managed to destroy it resulting in a huge explosion. Vegeta, are you alright? Gohan asked. Stands. What do you have to say about that, Beerus? What about you, Whis? It looks like your squad is no match for Jiren. It's only a matter of time before you're erased. Belmod said laughing and sticking his tongue out at him. I would not be discouraged so quickly, Lord Beerus. We've known Vegeta for quite some time now and something like that will only push Vegeta to come back even stronger. Whis said. Fighting area. After the explosion there was a cloud of black smoke surrounding the area. Once the smoke cleared, Vegeta was standing there breathing heavily with his clothes torn up and cuts all over his body. Gohan and Jiren both made it into the area and looked at Vegeta. After all of that you're not even breathing hard. I can tell that defeating you won't be easy. Vegeta said. You can try all you want, but you'll fail every time. You defeating me is impossible. Jiren said. What the did you just say? Vegeta asked. Nice, Jiren. Insulting Vegeta's pride forces him to unleash new power. We're going to need that if we want to defeat you and Naruto. Gohan thought as he took a glance at Naruto who just looked at him and then back to the fight. Your fighting style reeks of arrogance. It infects your techniques and makes them impure. You think you're entitled to greatness and your arrogance will lead to your ultimate downfall in the end. Jiren said. Was that supposed to be insulting? You called me arrogant, you're damn right I am. That's pride. Pride in the Saiyan I am. The mighty prince of the ultimate warrior race. Vegeta said as he extended his arms and gathered a lot of energy for his next attack. Impossible to defeat you. Don't make me laugh. I'll never surrender control, that's not the man I am. It goes against everything I believe in. I'd rather die arrogant than live like a fool. You all may claim Goku to be the strongest from our universe, but I'm the one who's going to defeat you, Jiren, and I'll do it my own way. Vegeta said as his power continued to skyrocket past his previous limits. That's awesome, Vegeta. You're powering up way farther than you did before. Gohan said. Stands. What the hell is going on? Why is his power continuing to skyrocket like that? Belmod asked. Jiren obviously thought that insulting Vegeta would throw Vegeta off of his game, but all it did was remind Vegeta of his pride and caused him to awaken even more power. Piccolo said, "Fighting area. You think I'm not a threat to you, so I'll assume that means you won't act like a bitch and try to avoid this blast." Vegeta said, "Bring it." Jiren said, "Very well then. It's your funeral. I'll enjoy seeing your face as you watch me win this tournament from the stands." Vegeta said, "Give it to him." Krillin yelled, "Hit him with everything you've got." Beerus yelled, "Final flash." Vegeta yelled. He fired off the attack and Naruto thought it looked exactly like his majestic destroyer cannon. Jiren, seeing the blast coming towards him, had no choice but to raise his arms and guard him from the attack. The attack was so powerful that it carried on and nearly hit the stands. It shook the stands and everyone had to hold on. In the fighting area, Gohan was blown away while Naruto just stood there. "I'd like to see him survive that," Vegeta thought, breathing heavily. The smoke from the final flash cleared and Jiren was laying face down on the ground. Everyone seeing this was scared and shocked that Jiren was hurt. Naruto knew better though. He felt Jiren's power rise up just before the attack hit him and now he was just toying with Vegeta. Seeing this, Vegeta started to chuckle before it turned into a full-blown laugh. "Ha, serves you're right. That's what happens when you doubt the greatest warrior in the cosmos," Vegeta said, and before he could continue Jiren was gone. "Vegeta, no." Gohan yelled. Naruto, looking on, saw Jiren move and noticed the red energy attack in his hand aimed at Vegeta at point-blank range. "I'll have to commend you for harnessing so much power in your last attack. However, it's not enough to defeat me," Jiren said. He unleashed his attack and the energy attack surrounded Vegeta, severely hurting him before exploding. Everyone from Universe 7 was shocked at what just happened and couldn't even speak. Once the smoke cleared, Vegeta fell to his knees before collapsing to his stomach. Eyes rolled to the back of his head. Vegeta was out cold and was barely moving. Well, that was a bit harsh. Naruto making his presence known. "You've finally decided to show up. I guess you're ready to challenge me and lose as well," Jiren said. "Nope. I'm just here watching the fight. Although I should warn you that Gohan over there has a lot more power inside of him than you think. I'd take him seriously if I were you," Naruto said. "He's no match for me. I've seen his strength. It pales in comparison to my own," Jiren said. "Wow, you're an individual," Naruto said, walking towards Vegeta. "What you call? I call truth," Jiren said. "Whatever," Naruto said, picking up Vegeta. "Hey, what are you doing?" Gohan asked. "Relax, I'm just moving him out of the way." Unlike Jiren, I can feel your power rising underneath, so that tells me you're about to challenge him again. I wouldn't want you getting your teammate killed during the fight," Naruto said as he laid Vegeta down next to a boulder. "Yo, Jiren!" Gohan exclaimed. Jiren turned to face Gohan and didn't speak. Gohan knew he had his attention, so he powered up to his maximum power and got ready to fight. Jiren took notice of his power and spoke up. "It's time for you to be eliminated, Gohan," Jiren said. Gohan only chuckled at that and started walking towards Jiren. He ran and instantly teleported behind Jiren. He went for a punch, but it was only a distraction. Jiren, without turning around, shot an energy blast at Gohan, who ducked out of the way. As Gohan dodged the blast, he laid down a thin rope of energy before trying at another angle. Jiren started shooting energy blasts at Gohan in a boring fashion, playing right into Gohan's plan. As Gohan was running around, he placed multiple ropes on energy on the ground. He appeared at Jiren's side and placed another on the ground. He escaped before Jiren could attack him with a point-blank energy blast. After the last rope was set, Gohan started an frontal assault on Jiren, who noticed Gohan's attacks were becoming sharper the more he fought. Realizing this, Jiren upped his guard and power level a bit more as he and Gohan began trading punches again. "Stands. I have to say, I'm quite impressed by this Gohan from your universe, Lord Beerus," Makarita said. "He hasn't let me down yet, so that's a plus." Beerus said. "I want to know why he keeps running though. It's like he goes in to attack Jiren, but at the last moment he runs away." Piccolo said. "Does it really matter? I mean, Jiren's not even worried about him. He's clearly just toying with him for now." Belmod said. "You may want to rethink that, Lord Belmod," Vados said. "Why?" Belmod asked. "Because, if you haven't noticed, every time Jiren's fighting Gohan, he has to keep increasing his power level and making his guard stronger. Makarita said. You honestly think Gohan will be a threat to Jiren? Don't make me laugh. Belmod said. I wouldn't count Gohan out if I were you. Goku said. Oh, why's that? Is Daddy coming to the aid of his dear son? Belmod teased. Actually, I am. You don't know Gohan like we do. He's always been the strongest fighter amongst us, even as a child. He just never had the will or heart of a fighter like we do. You can ask Frieza himself. He may lie, but he knows it's true as well. Goku said. As much as it pains me to say this, the monkey is right. On planet Namek back in our universe, I was looking for the Dragon Balls to wish for immortality. Unfortunately, I ran into the friends of the monkey we have here. Now at one point Gohan managed to wound me, but it wasn't enough to keep me down. Frieza said. Then I guess you weren't that strong to begin with. Belmod said. I must say my power level at that moment was easily over 1 million. Gohan at that time had to be between the age of 5 and 7. My pride was wounded knowing I was almost killed by a mere child. Do not take the huge gap in their power levels for granted. When dealing with him, that gap can close in a mere instant, turning the scale of the fight in his favor. Frieza said. Wow, I never would have thought to hear Frieza talk so positive about a Saiyan. Krillin said. Do not take me lightly. I still hate all Saiyans. I just hate him the least. Frieza said. All the angels took in Frieza's words and held a silent conversation. They all nodded and turned their attention back to the fight between Gohan and Jiren. Fighting area. Gohan and Jiren's fight continued for some time, and just as Jiren was about to catch Gohan with a straight right, Gohan grabbed his arm and threw him over his shoulder towards the edge of the ring. Unknown to Jiren, Gohan also placed a tiny energy blast on him. Jiren managed to stop at the edge of the ring, and before he could move, the small energy blast Gohan placed on him exploded, destroying the area he was standing in. Jiren began falling out of the ring. Everyone from Universe 11 was shocked that he was falling. Jiren acted quickly and jumped on the biggest pieces of rubble he could see and managed to jump back into the ring. He gave Gohan a glare that was met back with a smirk. Jiren took a step forward, and as soon as he put his foot down, some of the energy ropes Gohan set around the area wrapped around Jiren. What? Jiren said. Nice little trick I came up with while training for this tournament. Not only do these ropes of energy hold you in place, they also drain you of your energy as well and send it to me. Gohan said. That's ingenious. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm glad to have Gohan fighting by my side right now. Vegeta thought as he struggled to stand up. Sure enough, the energy Jiren was losing was going to Gohan. Gohan looked back at Vegeta and extended his hand to him so all the energy he collected from Jiren would transfer through Gohan and to Vegeta. After 30 seconds, the ropes got all the energy they could from Jiren and faded away. Gohan shot a blast at Jiren's face and retreated back to Vegeta, who was still down. You alright, Vegeta? Gohan asked. I'll be fine. Nice plan. Too bad we don't have any more of those ropes to drain more of his energy. Vegeta stated. There are more out there, but they are set to explode when he makes contact with them. Gohan said, and Vegeta nodded. You do know that won't be able to hold him, right? Vegeta asked. Yeah, I know, but it gives us time to recover. Gohan said. Sure enough, the smoke cleared and Jiren was seen standing there breathing a bit heavy. He took a step forward again, and then more ropes tangled him up and just exploded. He had enough of this and decided to just plow through them with his strength, creating another smoke screen. Jiren calmly walked out of the smoke and surrounded by red energy, and before Gohan could react, he sped forward and punched him in the face, sending him flying back. Gohan recovered just in time to trade a few quick punches and kicks with Jiren until he was ultimately kicked back. I guess he's finally taking me seriously. Gohan thought. Jiren rushed forward with another punch, but Gohan jumped out of the way, making Jiren's punch hit a boulder. In the air, Gohan went for a kick to Jiren's head, but Jiren caught the kick and slammed Gohan into the ground. Gohan sat up and Jiren was right in his face with a fight coming straight at him. Gohan managed to get away and put some space between them. Jiren stood back up and increased his power level a lot, signaling that he was through playing games. Stands. Unbelievable. His energy is so intense. Kai said. I can feel Jiren's power surging higher and higher. I haven't seen him this worked up in such a long time. Belmod said. I think it's safe to assume that Jiren understands that he can't take Gohan as a joke anymore if he's releasing this much power. Makarita said. Your assumption is correct. Whis said. Will you all shut up? I'm trying to watch the fight. Caulifla said as she was very into the fight they were all watching. Fighting area. Gohan, seeing what Jiren's power was at, powered up himself, and everyone took notice to how it was almost on par with Goku's when he was in Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. Gohan and Jiren charged forward and met in the middle with their fist colliding. They had a brief stare down before they disappeared and began trading punches and kicks. Every time Jiren or Gohan threw a punch or kick, the other would block and retaliate with extreme precision. I can't believe Gohan's grew this much in so little time. I guess now that he's fighting for his family's very survival, he's awakened that warrior instinct that's been trapped down below. Vegeta thought. Everyone was looking on in amazement at how great he was. The most excited was Universe 7. None of them knew this is how Gohan would be performing in the Tournament of Power. Caulifla was watching on in amazement along with Kale and Kaba. They've never seen a fight like this and were amazed. The only thought they had was when would Jiren finally have their inevitable fight. Gohan went for a roundhouse kick, but Jiren back flipped away and threw his first forward with an energy attack. Gohan put his hands out forward and redirected the attack into the air. He was not ready for the onslaught of small energy blasts from Jiren's rapidly moving fists. Once the assault died down, Gohan was standing up limp with his arms hanging in front of him. I told you both, defeating me was impossible. Although Gohan, despite you not defeating me, you've proven yourself as a worthy opponent. I shall take the memories of this fight between us and cherish them for the rest of my life. Jiren said, walking up to Gohan. Now hold on just one damn second. Don't you sit there and act like this fight is over. We are Saiyans, the elite warrior race. We would rather die than simply give up just because somebody is stronger than us. Vegeta said as he stood up and walked next to Gohan. Jiren stopped walking and stared them both down. Gohan regained his composure, although it was clear that he took a lot of damage from that last attack. Both Saiyans had a certain look on their face, and Universe 7 has a feeling something good was about to happen. Playtime is over, Jiren. Gohan and Vegeta yelled. They began to power up, and everyone from Universe 7, mainly Goku and Piccolo, were keeping an eye on Gohan. As they began to power up, Gohan started to slim down and his hair was becoming even more spiky. I told you when we first started fighting that I fight for my family. My loved ones and everything I care about. I will not let them down again. I made a promise to my wife and little girl that I will return home, and I won't break that promise. Gohan said. Gohan let out one final yell, pushing his power past its limits. A bright light came from him and he stood there with power matching that of Goku when he used Ultra Instinct the second time. His hair was more spiky with his lone bang still at the front. His eyes were blue and his aura was blue with static and sparkles around it. The most noticeable feature was he slimmed down like Goku in his Super Saiyan God form. This meant one thing: Gohan has ascended to the next level in his ultimate form. Vegeta, on the other hand, did not voice his words. He imagined the smiling faces of his wife and his children. The burden of him having so much at stake pushed him past his limits as well. He bulked up in muscle with his hair becoming a darker shade of blue. His eyes became a darker shade of blue as well as his aura, which was more fierce and also had little sparkles around it. Now Jiren, you can finally see my all. Vegeta said in a voice with power. Stands. Wow. Do you feel that power coming from them? Goku asked in excitement. Yes, but it's even greater coming from Gohan. It seems he's tapping into his latent abilities and has once again pushed himself beyond his limits. Piccolo said. This is truly remarkable, isn't it, Lord Beerus? Whis asked. What is going on? Why don't these Saiyans just give up? It's pointless to stand up to Jiren's power. Belmod said. It's just as Vegeta said. A Saiyan would rather die than roll over and give up the fight. I don't think they will be giving any signs of throwing in the towel at all. Piccolo said. Yes, and given the power I feel from both of them, Jiren may be in more trouble than you think. Whis said. Whoa, that is so freaking cool. Kaba, do you feel that power coming from them? It's amazing. Caulifla exclaimed. Yes, I feel it too. But something is bothering me about it. Kaba said. What's wrong, Kaba? Kale asked. Like Kaba mentioned, the problem isn't with the power coming from them. He has a problem with Naruto. Vados stated. Why? What's the problem? Caulifla asked. This amazing power coming from both of them hasn't even made him flinch. It has all of the gods on the edge of their seats, and even Jiren made a small but barely noticeable move. I know Naruto's on my team and all, but the fact that he isn't even worried about this frightens me. Kaba said. Let's just watch and see. I have a feeling Jiren's going to up his game. Maybe that will draw the attention of Naruto. Champa said as he was eager to see his strongest fighter go all out. Fighting area. Jiren was impressed by the increase in power he's feeling from Gohan and Vegeta. He made an unnoticeable glance in Naruto's direction and saw that he just had his eyes closed. I see you've both improved your power levels, mainly you, Gohan. It still isn't enough to face me yet. Jiren said. After you, King Vegeta. Gohan said. This shocked everyone in Universe 7. The fact that he actually called him King Vegeta made them realize that Vegeta is actually the king right now. Vegeta said nothing and started walking forward, and Gohan walked right behind him. A true king leading his knight into battle. Bring it. Jiren said. All of a sudden Vegeta and Gohan charged forward and began an all-out assault on Jiren, who was having a hard time blocking all of the attacks. Jiren managed to push them back, but before he could recover they both came in and punched him, sending him flying back through boulders. Jiren jumped up immediately and wiped his mouth. I see you've both sharpened your attacks. Jiren said. He couldn't speak again because Gohan suddenly appeared in front of him with his fist embedded in Jiren's gut. Vegeta followed through with a hard right jab and they began attacking again. This time Jiren couldn't even get his guard up and started taking significant damage. He had enough and powered up, matching Gohan's strength, and blasted them away. Vegeta and Gohan retaliated in mid-air, throwing their own energy blasts at Jiren, which he punched and caused an explosion. Vegeta and Gohan landed and stared at Jiren, who was covering himself from the explosion. Looks like you need to take us more seriously, Jiren. It wouldn't look good on your record if you lost to some Saiyans who are beneath you. Vegeta said mockingly. Just because you've changed and grew your power a little doesn't mean you can compete with me. The young warrior next to you is more of a threat to me than you'll ever be. He's the strongest your universe has to offer, yet it's still not enough. Jiren said. I can live with him being stronger than me. He's a freak of nature with the greatest potential in the remaining universes. I have somebody to compete with now that I'm Kakarot's equal. Vegeta said. Try all you want and you'll still be weak compared to me. My strength has no limits. I'm able to easily counter time skip, something a warrior like you would struggle with. Jiren said. You say your strength has no limits. Wasn't it you who was almost eliminated by a simple little kick from Naruto? Gohan asked. I will deal with him after I get rid of the cannon fodder in front of me. Jiren said. Indeed, we will fight, Jiren. However, it looks like you have your hands full right now. I'll be waiting for your challenge. You better come with everything you've got or you're going to regret it. Naruto said as he appeared in the middle of them. You might as well stay here, Naruto. Because after I'm done with Jiren, I'm coming for you. Vegeta said. If you think you can handle me at your current level, you need to evaluate things. I haven't really powered up to my max, and in Super Saiyan 2 I'm stronger than you. Maybe even stronger than Gohan, but we'll never know because I doubt you'll last that much longer. Naruto said. Before anybody could reply, a familiar energy was felt throughout the entire arena and stands. This made everyone look in the direction of the other fight between the androids and Toppo. I guess the god in training has decided to make his presence known. Naruto said. I thought gods weren't allowed to participate in the tournament. Gohan said. He isn't really a god, just a candidate. He's allowed in the tournament. If he wasn't, then Goku, Vegeta and myself wouldn't be allowed because we can also use divine energy like gods and angels. Naruto said. Enough talk. I'll deal with that fake wannabe god of destruction after I'm through with the both of you. Vegeta said. Naruto left the area as Gohan and Vegeta charged at Jiren. Up in the stands, the remaining universes were all on the edge of their seats waiting to see what will happen next. While Gohan and Vegeta were fighting Jiren, Toppo had his hands full with 17 and 18. He had to admit that they were good separately, but together they were a force to be reckoned with, and he thought Jiren might have a tough time with them as well. Currently he was running away from a barrage of energy beams. 17 was firing at him. Toppo saw an opening and countered with his own attack. Justice Flash. He began firing off multiple energy blasts from his fingertips at 17. He was so focused on 17 that he didn't notice 18 running towards him until it was too late and she kicked him in his face, sending him flying back. I didn't need your help, 17 said. From the way things looked, you actually did, 18 said. I must admit, you two are fine warriors and have tremendous teamwork. You would make an excellent addition to the Pride Troopers. However, you come from the same universe as that Saiyan Goku and I must not let evil prevail. Toppo said. Sorry, but I would rather die than wear those hideous things you call a uniform, 17 said. I would rather be absorbed by Cell again than be seen in that, 18 said. That's a bit too far, don't you think? 17 asked. Nope, was all 18 said. Enough. You will not disrespect the uniform of the Pride Troopers in front of me. To do such a thing in our universe is a crime in itself. Toppo said. Yeah, we don't care, 18 said. We're not from your universe, 17 said. They looked at each other and then they both shot an energy blast at him. The combined blast pushed him close to the edge before he managed to jump out of the way. He moved, 17 said. I've noticed, 18 said. Toppo appeared in front of 18 and kicked her away. 17 acted immediately and started to trade punches and kicks with Toppo. 17 was basically as strong as Goku in his Super Saiyan Blue form, so Toppo was having some trouble dealing with him. 18 came back and joined the fight, and that's when Toppo really had a hard time. 17 and 18 quickly got the upper hand and broke through Toppo's guard, and every punch and kick they threw at him connected and he was feeling the power between those punches and kicks. Stands. Looks like your God of Destruction candidate is having a hard time. It's too bad his father Jiren can't save him, Champa said. Why are you chanting for Universe 7, my lord? Vados asked. Because Beerus hasn't been trash-talking me as much as Belmod has been doing, Champa said. Toppo has yet begun to show his full power. I'm not worried at all, Belmod said with full confidence. Lord Champa, you might want to check on Naruto. It seems he has fallen asleep during the tournament, Makarita said, pointing at Naruto. He's not sleeping. Vados, please tell me he isn't sleeping, Champa said. I believe he is, my lord, Vados said with a hint of irritation on her voice. It seems we've found the one person who can get under your skin, Vados, Makarita said, laughing. Hey, Naruto, wake your up, Caulifla said. Yelling won't work, Champa said. Well, how does he usually wake up? Kaba asked. It's simple, Naruto. I have a fresh feast prepared for you, Vados exclaimed, and Naruto sat right up. We're doomed, Caulifla said. I wouldn't be so sure, Caulifla. Naruto only fell asleep because he's bored. He's waiting patiently for Jiren to become available and then fight him, Vados said. Hey Vados, do you have any more food? I'm starving, Goku said. Sure, Vados said. You better not give him some of my food, Naruto yelled. Who are you yelling at? Vados asked sweetly. Nobody, but that food is my emergency food. You can't just give it away. What will I eat if I have an emergency? Naruto asked. Oh, he's right, Goku. I can't give this food away. Perhaps Whis can create you some food, Vados said. What do I look like, a servant? Whis asked. That's exactly what you are, Caulifla said. Caulifla, there's no need to be rude, Kale said. Look who's finally talking again. Are you done with your random mood swings? Caulifla asked. It wasn't a random mood swing. I was angry about something and I'm over it now, Kale said. Let's just watch the tournament, Hit said. Fighting area. Toppo was still having trouble finding an opening, powered up to his max strength like he did against Goku, and started to take over the fight with the androids. 18 was kicked away first and then 17 was laying on the ground right next to her. I've told you I fight for justice and justice shall always prevail, Toppo said. Oh, shut up, 17 said. Your talk about justice is really annoying as hell, 18 said. Let's show him our version of justice, 17 said. All three of the charged in, and 18 managed to kick one of Toppo's legs, knocking him off balance, and 17 blasted him with point-blank energy blasts. Before the smoke cleared, Toppo used his Justice Flash again and 17 and 18 moved out of the way. The smoke cleared and Topo was bruised and his uniform was torn a little. Before he could speak up, 18 appeared behind him and caught his attention. He turned to fight her but 17 called out his attack. Super Electric Strike. 17 threw a green wave of an energy attack at Topo who went to dodge, but was kicked into the attack by 18 who managed to get out of the way. The attack was powerful and Topo was feeling the power behind it as he was being electrocuted as well as cut up from the attack. The move was finished and Topo fell to the ground with a lot of cuts and burn marks on his body. You're a tough one if you're able to withstand my ultimate attack, 17 said pointing his hand at Topo. It's too bad that we have to eliminate you now. I guess your so-called justice wasn't enough, 18 said. They both created an energy blast in their hands and blasted Topo and he yelled out in pain from the combined attacks. After the attacks finished, Topo was down on one knee and was looking like he was out for the count. You're an annoying little fella, you know that, 17 said. At least he isn't talking about justice anymore, 18 said, and Topo stood up with a blank look on his face and his clothes destroyed. He's persistent, I'll give him that, 17 said. Yeah, it's too bad that your prized uniform of justice is in shreds, 18 said. Worthless, Topo said. What was that? 18 asked. Justice. It's worthless now. I've made up my mind, Topo said as he had a purple glow surrounding him. Stands. Impossible. How can this be? Beerus asked. This energy. It's almost identical to a god's, Shin said. Now's the time to show them that power, Belmod said. Fighting area. Topo began powering up, causing lighting to form and pieces of the ring started to rise up. 18 jumped back and watched from afar. All right, fine. Let's see this resolve of yours, 18 said. I don't like the look of this, 17 muttered. Topo continued to power up as his body increased in size. He let out a yell and the lightning became more intense than before and he destroyed the surrounding area with his power output. As he calmed down, a purple symbol appeared on his abdomen that went all the way up to his chest and his eyes were completely purple. What is this sensation? 17 asked. Stands. Yes. That's it, Belmod said. We're on the brink of our universe's elimination. From here on, Kai said. It's a true fight for survival. Belmod finished with a laugh. Fighting area. I thought you were going to show me something impressive. All you've done is got a fancy tattoo and put on a mean face. Looking angry will do nothing, 18 said. Let's hope so. Otherwise we're in deep trouble, 18 said. Don't tell me you're getting soft, 17. Let's test it out and see for ourselves, 18 said and fired an energy blast at Topo and watched as it disintegrated. Oh, what is that? 17 said. Stands. Destruction energy, Beerus said. But, I thought the power of destruction was strictly for gods. Krillin said. You are indeed right. It's a power that belongs only to a god of destruction, Belmod exclaimed. And Topo is a candidate to be our Universe 11's god of destruction, Kai said. Now is the time to see the results of our training, right, Lord Belmod? Makarita asked. You are indeed correct, Makarita. Having made up his mind, Topo has abandoned his principles and is now no different from a god of destruction. You are all witnesses to the birth of Topo, the god of destruction, Belmod exclaimed. I don't like the looks of this. Do you think Naruto's going to be okay? Kale asked. Don't worry, Kale. Naruto isn't even worried about him, Champa said. I thought he was just kidding about Topo being a god of destruction candidate, Krillin said. Apparently he wasn't kidding. I can feel the power from Topo and if I was to fight him at Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20, the fight would be close, Goku said. If the fight would be close between the two of you, then either Vegeta or Gohan can take him on. Vegeta has caught up to your power and Gohan has surpassed you himself, Whis said. Fighting area. So what if you're a god of destruction? I won't back down from fighting you, 18 said, and Topo raised his hand and created a purple sphere in his hand. Hawkeye. Top fired the sphere of destruction energy at 18 and she held both hands up to stop it. She succeeded and grew more confident. Such a weak attack like this won't work on me, she said. She tried to push it back and was surprised when it started to absorb her. She tried to fight it off but it was too much for her. The shockwave from the attack created strong winds that shook everything and split the ring in half. Come out, weakling. I know you're there, Topo said. I was looking for an opening. You've certainly gone all out. 17 said. Justice and evil. I'm beyond that now. All that matters now is winning and survival. Topo said. You're right. Oops, sorry. I'm just talking out loud, don't mind me. 17 said. He walked out from behind the rock and had a stare down with Topo. Topo didn't say anything and just used his Justice Flash on 17, and it was stronger and faster than before. 17 quickly made a barrier to protect himself, but it was destroyed by Topo and he had no choice but to jump away. Even his normal attacks are a lot more stronger. 17 said. There's no point in running. You won't escape. Topo said. Topo charged at 17, who fired multiple energy blasts at him, but they were all destroyed because of the destruction energy surrounding Topo. Seeing how this wasn't working, 17 ran away, but Topo easily caught up to him and punched him through 3 boulders. Not just my barrier, but my energy attacks won't even work. That's disappointing. But there's always a weakness. 17 said. He began running and hopping around Topo, shooting energy blasts at him from all directions, and they still had no effect on him. 17 landed and shot a huge energy wave at Topo, and Topo just stood there. Topo grew tired of this and created his own attack of destruction energy. Beerus warned 17 and he tried dodging it. He wasn't fast enough and used an energy wave to move himself out of the way. The blast kept going towards the stands and Krillin was scared. Stands. It's coming this way. Krillin said. I don't want to die like this. Roshi said. Calm down. Beerus said, and the destruction energy flew over their heads. That was close. Krillin said. That confirms it. He needs to charge before he can use his destruction energy. Beerus said. So if that opening is targeted, he has a chance at winning. Krillin asked. No, you forget he can still surround himself with the destruction energy. Any direct attacks on him and whoever it is will just end up like the rubble. Whis said. Fighting area. I can't win like this. 17 said, putting distance between him and Topo, who was still chasing after him. What should I do now? 17 asked himself. Topo landed and began firing his Justice Flash at 17 again, who kept running. Topo destroyed all of the rubble in the surrounding area with his attack, and 17 was left on one floating piece that was directly in front of Topo. There's no place for you to run. It's over for you. I'll end it right here. Topo said. He created a sphere of destruction energy, but it was destroyed by a huge rock making contact with it that disintegrated. 18. 17 said. So, you withstood my attack, I'm impressed. However, you should have stayed down when you had the chance. Topo said. 18 stood there severely wounded with her clothes torn and blood all over her body. There was so much blood on her that her hair was matted down to her face and she was breathing heavily. I don't give a damn if you're a god of destruction. I'll destroy you just like your name implies. 18 said. What can you possibly do covered in wounds? If you must, give me everything you have. Topo said. Screw the rules, I'll kill you where you stand. 18 said. She created 2 huge destructo discs and threw them at Topo. Topo simply grabbed them with his hands and used the destruction energy to destroy them. 18 was shocked that this happened and wasn't prepared for Topo to charge at her. He punched her hard in the gut, making her cough up blood, and then grabbed her by the face, slamming her through a huge boulder. He kept his grip of her face and lifted her up to his eye level. I could easily destroy you right here. Unfortunately, I'd be disqualified if I did. Where is your own justice now? It can't save you anymore. Topo said. He squeezed her head, making her scream out in pain. He dropped her to the ground and just kicked her away. Not looking where he kicked her, she landed right in the arms of Naruto and she was barely conscious. Naruto looked up at Krillin and saw the concerned look on his face and just sighed. He walked to the edge of the ring and gently dumped her over the edge. Stands. 18 has been eliminated. The Grand Priest said. Here honey, take this senzu bean. Krillin said and fed one to 18. That was nice of Naruto to get her out of the tournament. Kus said. Naruto has a bit of a soft spot for women who have children. If 18 challenged him earlier, I doubt he would have fought her and eliminated her. He doesn't want to feel responsible for separating a mother from her child. Right now, in that instant, he had no choice because she was going to die if she kept fighting. Vados said. That's quite the gentleman you've raised, Vados. Too bad you couldn't do the same with Champa. Makarita said. Actually, Naruto's been like that his whole life. He grew up basically by himself since both of his parents died and always felt like a child should never be separated from his or her parents. Despite him having a lot of eliminations, this tournament is forcing him to go against his own beliefs and rules of life. Vados said. But he has his own precious people to protect, does he not? Makarita said. Yes, according to him, he has two people that are important to him that he has to protect. If he had no one precious to him, I doubt he'd even want to compete in this tournament. Vados said. So what you're saying is if one or both of his precious people were to be killed, then he would lose interest in the tournament. Belmod said, sneaking a glance at Kale, who saw this and got scared. No, that's a horrible idea. If somebody killed one of his precious people, he'll hunt them down and return the favor. Vados said. Wow, when you put it like that, he seems like a nice guy. Krillin said. He is a nice guy. If he wasn't, I wouldn't have offered him the opportunity to train underneath me. Vados said. I'll need to find a way to break him. He's too much of a threat to my universe. What to do? Belmod thought while taking another glance at Kale. Fighting area. Well, that was a bit harsh, don't you think? Naruto asked. So, you've come to fall by my hands as well. Toppo said. Bitch, please, even with your destruction energy powers, you still aren't even close to my level. Naruto said. We shall see. Hawkeye. Toppo said and fired a huge sphere of destruction energy at Naruto. Such an idiot. Naruto said. He simply caught the attack in his hand and threw it right back at Toppo. Since this has never happened to Toppo, he quickly used the destruction energy surrounding his body to erase the attack. The attack and energy surrounding Toppo cancelled each other out, and Naruto rushed in and gave Toppo a quick beat down before he surrounded himself with destruction energy again. Like I said, you're not on my level. Naruto told him and walked away. Well, that's interesting. 17 said as he looked on. You. Toppo said as he turned to face 17. You have my praise for surviving this long, but try all you want, it's pointless. Toppo said. You've certainly grown now that you have your new powers. It's not over yet, I'll just do what I can. 17 said. 17 powered up and created an energy attack, and Toppo did the same with his destruction energy. Both attacks were fired, and after a brief stalemate, Toppo's attack won and 17 had to jump out of the way. As he was running, Toppo once again used his Justice Flash to try and stop him, but 17 was just too evasive for him. 17 hid behind a rock trying to formulate a plan, but Toppo created hole in it and jumped through, aiming a punch at 17, who dodged and made Toppo punch the ground. No matter where you hide, it's futile. Toppo said. 17 didn't reply and looked up at the boulder behind Toppo and got an idea as it collapsed. He ran away knowing Toppo would follow him and was dodging Toppo's Justice Flash as he ran. He saw a huge boulder in front of him and took cover near it. Toppo, not realizing it was a trap, used his destruction energy to create a giant hole in the boulder and saw 17 on the other side with his arms pointed at him. 17 fired energy blasts and destroyed the boulder, making it collapse on top of Toppo. Toppo destroyed the rubble and jumped out and just fired relentless energy attacks at 17, who could only raise his arms to lessen the damage. After a while the attacks stopped and 17 dropped to his knees. I can't risk destroying you as well. I'll just end it with this next attack. Toppo said. He raised his hand in the air, creating a giant red energy attack in his hand. 17 looked up in concern at the attack and grit his teeth together. Feel my power. Toppo said. In a last-ditch effort, 17 jumped back and fired his own energy attack at Toppo's and destroyed it. Toppo came walking out of the smoke and did not look happy. Don't you see? Try all you want against me and my powers of destruction, you'll fail every time. I shall knock all of you who oppose Universe 11 off the stage. Toppo said. Before he could move, he had to jump back from crescent-like waves that were landing near him. He looked up and saw Jiren fighting against Gohan and Vegeta and noticed he was having a hard time dealing with them. Jiren created a ball of energy and threw it at Gohan and Vegeta, who jumped out of the way, and the attack kept going until it hit 17. Toppo jumped next to Jiren, who nodded at him as Vegeta jumped out of the smoke and went to attack Jiren from behind. Toppo nodded back and kicked Vegeta away so he could deal with him. So the fake god has made his presence known. Vegeta said. You're fighting me now. Toppo said. You don't interest me, but I'll entertain you. After you're gone, I'm one step closer to obtaining the Super Dragon Balls. Vegeta said. Toppo began rapidly firing energy blasts at Vegeta, who just lifted his arms in front of him to block them. Eventually, Vegeta was starting to get pushed back and overwhelmed by the attacks and had to jump to safety. He powered up and used his own attack. Final Flash. The Final Flash went straight at Toppo, who countered with a giant sphere of destruction energy. They were locked in a stalemate and Vegeta was getting irritated. You won't beat me with some lousy energy of destruction, Vegeta said. Vegeta added more power to his Final Flash, and unfortunately it wasn't enough since Toppo added more power to his attack and won. Vegeta jumped out of the way and let the destruction energy go past him. I hope that's not all your powered up state has to offer. If it is, then you will not beat me, Toppo said. So this is his power as a god of destruction. But to obtain the Super Dragon Balls and keep my promise to Kaba, since I will be the last man standing, I can't lose here, Vegeta said. Toppo wasted little time and sped towards Vegeta, who was surprised by his speed and punched Vegeta in the face, sending him flying away. Toppo vanished behind him and shot him in the back with an energy attack, and Vegeta was sent flying up in the air. Toppo appeared above him and hit him with a double overhead hammer fist, sending him crashing into the ground. Vegeta jumped right up and Toppo was on him in an instant. He kicked Toppo's leg from underneath him, knocking him off balance, but Toppo planted his hand in the ground and managed to kick Vegeta away. There's no way this is the same guy from before, Vegeta said. He remembered his first fight with Toppo and he was nothing like how he is now. Toppo fired off rapid energy blasts at Vegeta and he once again dodged them. Toppo charged in with a combo of punches and kicks that Vegeta blocked. He went for 2 more punches, but Vegeta caught both of them in his palms. After all that talk about justice, now you're talking about destruction. That's quite the change in attitude, Toppo, Vegeta said. If justice can't protect our universe, then I must abandon those principles and destroy everything that stands in our way, Toppo said. He kicked Vegeta away and shot him with an energy blast, sending him through a couple boulders before he became stuck in one of them. A promise among Saiyans. Don't make me laugh. Such a thing is pointless in our current situation. You won't beat me while you beat unnecessary things like that. I will survive at all costs. To that declaration I have cast everything unnecessary aside, Toppo said. He lifted his hands and created a giant energy sphere and was poised to throw it at Vegeta. He was going to eliminate him and move on to take out 17, then challenge Naruto. Universe 7, it's time for you to cease to exist. Your presence among us is no longer needed, Toppo said. He threw his attack at Vegeta, who was still stuck in the boulder. He cast aside everything unnecessary. To hell with that. Bulma, Trunks, Bulla, my promise to Kaba, my pride as a Saiyan. That's all I am and what motivates me to keep moving forward in life, Vegeta thought. I'm not like you. I cast nothing aside, Vegeta yelled. Toppo's attack made contact and Vegeta powered up and burst through it like it was nothing. He flew at Toppo, who was momentarily stunned by Vegeta's rise in power, and punched him right in the face, sending him flying away and crashing into the boulder behind him. Vegeta let off a volley of energy blasts at Toppo and each of them connected somehow. He took off towards Toppo and kicked him in the face once, punched him 3 times quickly and kicked him away. He flew after him and punched through the attack Toppo created. With only this much power, how the hell can you call yourself stronger? Let alone declare yourself as a god, Vegeta said. As Vegeta was talking, he was hitting Toppo with a countless amount of rights and lefts in his face, and again every single one of them were connecting and Toppo was taking serious damage. He ended the attacks with another kick, sending Toppo flying away again. Stands. Toppo. Dispo yelled. Damn it. Just destroy everything. As long as his body remains and he survives, that's all that matters. Destroy all of his attacks. No one will care if he's alive in the end. Just do it. Belmont exclaimed. Oh yeah, you can do it, Vegeta. Goku exclaimed. Fighting area. We shall survive at all costs, Hawkeye. Toppo said. He fired off a sphere of destruction at Vegeta and was surprised when Vegeta just punched right through it with no problem. Vegeta kept his momentum from the punch going and hit Toppo in the face again. You're a loser who can't even protect his own pride. Did you honestly think I would lose to somebody like you? Vegeta said. Vegeta dodged 3 more energy attacks and hit Toppo again. Toppo created another energy attack, but Vegeta was on him in an instant and punched him in the gut, making the attack fly away and destroy a boulder far away. Toppo desperately tried again, but Vegeta didn't let up. He kicked his arm and then did a spin kick, knocking Toppo to the ground. I'll give you my ultimate attack. It's something that is way too powerful to destroy, Vegeta said. Vegeta began powering up as much as possible until he was surrounded by a sphere of golden energy. Piccolo instantly recognized the attack and Naruto knew about it as well since this is how his father died. Naruto jumped over to where Vegeta and Toppo were fighting and just watched. Stands. Amazing. An incredible amount of energy is gathering from within Vegeta. Shin said. Don't tell me you're actually going to use that attack, Vegeta. Piccolo thought as he remembered the last time he witnessed Vegeta use this attack against Majin Buu. I hope Vegeta knows what he's doing with this move. Krillin said. Why, what's so wrong about this attack? Beerus asked. It's suicidal. The only way to survive this attack is if your body can withstand the stress from the amount of power you're releasing. Piccolo said. This isn't an ordinary attack, it uses the power from your life force as well. The last time Vegeta used this attack he blew himself up. Krillin said. It would seem that Naruto recognizes that move as well. Whis said. How does he recognize it, Vados? Champa asked. It's how his father died. Kale answered. How long ago was this? Goku asked. Right before he was born. Kale said. Let's end the conversation there and pay attention. That's Naruto's story to tell. Vados said, and everyone turned their attention to the fight between Vegeta and Toppo. Fighting area. Vegeta was still powering up his attack and the power kept rising higher and higher. Toppo stood up and saw this. He powered up, creating two spheres of destruction energy in his hands and combined them into one sphere that grew to the size of Vegeta's attack. Toppo fired the destruction sphere at Vegeta and it clashed with his attack. The power struggle was amazing and terrifying at the same time. They both kept increasing their power, trying to overwhelm the other, and Toppo won out in the end when his attack basically absorbed Vegeta. He thought he won, but then Vegeta's attack burst through the destruction sphere and Vegeta unleashed all of his power, destroying the surrounding area and eliminating Toppo from the tournament. Stands. Contestant Toppo of the 11th universe has been eliminated. The Grand Priest said. Toppo. Dispo said as Toppo appeared next to him. That was a good job, don't you think, Lord Belmont? Makarita asked and he didn't answer. Impossible. Toppo lost. Kai said. Wait, where's Vegeta? Shin asked. Vegeta sacrificed himself to defeat Toppo. Piccolo said. Everyone was looking on in wonder to what happened to Vegeta, and then the rocks floating around moved out of the way. Standing in the middle of a crater was none other than Vegeta. He was looking worse for wear and his clothes were destroyed, leaving him in only his ripped up pants and boots. He was breathing heavy, but he would be alright. Alright, he survived. Krillin said. He detonated that much energy and survived. Roshi said, astonished. I guess training with Whis and surpassing his Super Saiyan Blue limits, his body was able to withstand the attack. Goku said. But now, Vegeta's used up all of his power. He can barely stand as is. Beerus said. You are correct, my lord. Also add in the fact that both Jiren and Naruto remain. This will be a tough fight for our three remaining fighters if they wish to survive. Whis said. I never thought it would come down to Jiren alone. Kai said. We're counting on you, Jiren. Dispo said, helping Toppo stand. Fighting area. How pathetic. I expected more from you, Toppo. Jiren said. Wow, what a. Naruto said. Hey, how can you say that about your own teammate? Gohan asked. Shut up. Jiren said and kicked him away. Okay, that was funny. Naruto said, laughing. You gained this much power without casting anything aside. I commend you for defeating Toppo, well done. However, I'm built differently and my power far surpasses that of Toppo. Now feast your eyes on this. Jiren said and began to power up. What is he going to do now? 17 asked. Jiren's been holding back this much strength. Gohan said. If only you knew. Naruto thought as he looked at Jiren power up. Jiren's power caused heavy winds and started to destroy some of the surrounding area. Once finished, his powerful aura looked like a burning flame. What unbelievable energy. Gohan said. What kind of monster is he? 17 asked. So, with all your friends gone, you've finally decided to get serious. It's a bit late to try that since we have the momentum right now. It's a mistake on your behalf and we'll make sure to capitalize on it. We have 2 opponents left and if we defeat the both of you, we win. Vegeta said as he walked out of the crater. Don't make me laugh. You can't beat me with those wounds. You stood no chance before and now you're running on fumes. Jiren said. You son of a bitch. Vegeta said and powered up to his new form as rushed at Jiren. What an idiot. 17 said. Gohan and 17 joined Vegeta in charging Jiren. Jiren used his now increased speed and appeared behind all 3 of them. He kicked 17 away and then Gohan and Vegeta flew at Jiren and began an assault of punches and kicks joined by 17 who recovered from being kicked away. Jiren had no problem blocking or dodging their attacks, but he was getting annoyed. These guys are such impudent gnats. Jiren said. He caught Vegeta's punch and then punched him away. He elbowed 17 and kicked Gohan sending the flying away. He jumped towards Vegeta but had to dodge an attack by Gohan and then was hit by an attack from both 17 and Vegeta. Vegeta had to duck out of the way from an energy blast that Jiren sent at him from inside the smoke. Jiren flew at Vegeta with a kick but 17 knocked him out of the way and took the kick into the chest getting crushed between a boulder and Jiren's foot. Jiren finished it off with a point-blank energy blast to 17 and turned to look at Vegeta. Damn android. I don't need your help. Jiren, you're mine to defeat, prepare to get your kicked. Vegeta said. He flew at Jiren and started to attack him with everything he had. Jiren was blocking and then noticed Gohan come from behind him. He grabbed Vegeta's arm and kicked him away. Gohan flew in with punches and kicks at Jiren and he had no choice but to block and dodge them since Gohan's power kept increasing. They landed and then Jiren went on the offensive against Gohan but stopped and quickly jumped back from energy blasts courtesy of Vegeta, who came flying down at him with a punch. No you don't. Vegeta said and threw the punch but Jiren caught it creating a shockwave. A good punch. I can see why you were able to defeat Toppo. However, as I've already told you, it's not enough to beat me with. Jiren said. He powered up energy into his fist and punched Vegeta in the stomach knocking him out of his Super Saiyan Blue transformation and sent him flying back. Gohan came flying in with a punch that Jiren easily caught. He punched Gohan in the face twice and kicked him back. He tried to use the same attack he just did on Vegeta but Gohan dodged it and appeared up above Jiren and fired a Kamehameha down at him. Jiren crouched down then used a stronger version of the attack he did on Vegeta against the Kamehameha and punched through it sending Gohan flying away. Jiren began walking up to them but stopped when 17 grabbed his shoulder. Hold on, I've got a special present for you. He said. 17 blasted him in the back destroying the rubble around them. He was sent flying out of the smoke from the explosion and into a collapsing boulder. I guess that's what I get for being too reckless. 17 said as he stood up. Damn you. Jiren said as 17 managed to wound him. I guess Jiren doesn't like when somebody can actually hurt him. He's going to hate me then. Naruto thought with a smirk. That damaged look really suits you. 17 said. You bastard. Jiren said. He let his anger get the best of him and charged at 17 who shot energy blasts at him sending him back. 17 saw this and jumped next to Gohan. 17 you alright? Gohan asked. Barely, but I'll be fine. 17 said. You really are impressive, you know that. Thanks to your attack, I know how to deal with Jiren. Gohan said. How? 17 asked. It looks like getting hit with an attack that big can hurt him and make him drop his guard. We wait for that opening and then hit him with an even bigger attack. Gohan said. The same thing won't work twice on someone like Jiren. Naruto thought. I'll do anything to win. Vegeta said and powered up to his new form again. First me and Vegeta will get his attention. I'm that moment, you strike. Gohan said. I got it. 17 said. Are you finished with your scheming? Jiren asked. Don't worry. We're going to pay you back for what you did to us. Vegeta said. Now it's our turn. Gohan said. After a brief stare down, 17 shot an energy blast at Jiren's face and once Jiren destroyed it, Gohan and Vegeta were right there on his face. They both sent a punch at his face that he blocked. They knees him in the gut. Gohan kicked his legs from underneath him and Vegeta kicked him away. They rushed at Jiren and all of them began trading punches and kicks while 17 was trying to lock onto Jiren. Stands. I must say, I'm really impressed with Gohan's growth during this tournament. Whis said. Yes, I'm surprised as well. Goku, why didn't you tell me your son was this good? Beerus asked. Honestly, you never asked. But, before this tournament and Frieza's attack on Earth, Gohan completely gave up fighting. His skills dulled away so much that Goten and Trunks would have beaten him if they teamed up. He didn't start training seriously again until after Frieza was back. He didn't get back to his original self until a few hours after the Xeno Expo. After that he trained in secret at the hyperbolic time chamber. Goku said. Yes, but his growth is astounding. Perhaps I should take over his training from now on and train you, Gohan and Vegeta. Whis said. I wouldn't count on it. The only person Gohan trusts to train him is Piccolo because he knows he won't hold back and will actually try to kill him during training. I tried to train him once and he was angry at me for holding back. He won't train with you unless you go all out against him. Plus, he wants to train differently than me and Vegeta. Training with you would probably set him back. Goku said. I would train him in sensing divine energy, something Piccolo can't do. Whis said. Gohan can already sense your energy. Unlike everybody else, Gohan's abilities are way above all of ours. He was able to detect your energy after the first time we met. He just thought nothing of it. Piccolo said. Answer me this, Goku. Who in this tournament do you think your son can defeat? Beerus asked. Honestly, everyone including me. Except for Jiren and Naruto. Goku said. Surely you're joking. Beerus asked. No, I'm dead serious. This isn't the first time he's surpassed all of us in strength. He surpassed us on Namek after Frieza hurt Piccolo and then he did it again when we had to fight Cell. Goku said. Whoa, he sounds awesome. I want to fight him next. Caulifla said. He would crush you, even if you became a Super Saiyan 3, which you're still far off from becoming. Piccolo said. He's right, Caulifla. The power I felt from him when we first arrived was way above Super Saiyan 3 from what Goku showed us. Kaba said. So that's why Naruto was so interested in Gohan. Champa said. Precisely. Naruto must have sensed the depth of Gohan's powers and took an interest in them. When you look at it, they're mirror images of each other like our universes are. Vados said. I never thought of it that way. Goku said as he watched the fight. I hate to interrupt, but Vados, what is Naruto doing? Kus asked, looking at Naruto bob his head from side to side. I honestly don't know. I'll ask him. Vados said. Naruto, what are you doing? Vados asked telepathically and instantly regretted hearing his thoughts. Go Go Power Rangers. Go Go Power Rangers. Go Go Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin Power Ranger RRRS. Naruto unintentionally replied. Kus and Makarita noticed Vados' eye twitched and grew amused at this. They've tried so hard to get under her skin throughout their entire life and never did it, but Naruto does it with ease. So care to tell us what he's doing? Makarita asked with an amused tone. Not unless you want me to hurt your nephew. He's not even paying attention to the fight anymore. Vados said. I find it funny how we could never get you angry no matter how hard we tried, and yet, Naruto does it so easily. Makarita said. I don't think he knows he's even doing it. That's what makes it even worse. Vados said. He's a bigger fool than the idiot monkey sitting next to me. Frieza said. After that comment, everyone felt an aura of death and looked at Vados, who had a stone-cold look on her face. This made everyone back up as far as possible, and even though they were nowhere near them, the Grand Priest also moved himself and the Omni Kings back a few feet. Don't talk about my son like that, do you hear me? Vados asked, and Frieza was a ruthless person, but he knew when not to be a smart, so he nodded his head vigorously. Thank you, Vados said in a cheery tone. What the hell? Was everyone's thought at that moment. Fighting area. As Gohan and Vegeta were fighting Jiren, 17 found his spot and fired his attack at Jiren. Gohan and Vegeta backed off while Jiren was forced to raise his arms and block the attack. This won't work on me again. Jiren said. He broke free of the attack and flew down at 17, who created barriers between him and Jiren that were easily destroyed. Jiren threw a punch at 17, who jumped back, but Jiren recovered quickly and quickly punched 17 twice, sending him flying into a floating rock. 17 fired a huge energy wave at Jiren, who put his hand out to block it. Vegeta was in the air with Gohan shooting small energy blasts at Jiren. Vegeta, this time let's hit him all at once. Gohan said. Gohan and Vegeta teleported by Jiren. Gohan threw a punch that Jiren blocked with his knee and Vegeta went for a kick to the back of his head that was blocked with his arm. In one fluent motion, Jiren kicked both of them away. Gohan and Vegeta both fired strong attacks at Jiren, who was now caught in the middle of 3 strong attacks. Jiren had enough and released his own energy, destroying the attacks and sending all 3 of them flying away. Gohan and Vegeta fell to the ground completely exhausted and out of their transformed state. 17 was also down and Jiren just looked down at them from on top of a floating rock. Time's up, Jiren said. He turned to look at Naruto, who was staring at him with a blank face. He was about to speak up when he was shot in the back by a small energy attack. He turned around and saw 17 standing there. He jumped down and stood in front of him. Just what can you do alone? Jiren asked. Well, a lot actually, since I haven't given up just yet. Universe 7 will survive. 17 said. And then what? You'll survive and then what? What will you wish for with the Super Dragon Balls? Belmod asked. I'm going to obtain the Super Dragon Balls and then take a trip with my family on a cruiser. 17 said. Are you joking? Belmod asked. I am serious. I'll leave the jokes up to you. After all, you're the only clown here. What about you, Jiren? Surely nothing other than being the strongest interests you. 17 said. Even I have a wish I want granted. Jiren said. Jiren's wish? Kai asked. I knew it. Let me tell you all the reason for Jiren's obsession with strength. Jiren's parents were killed by an evildoer. He was rescued by the man who became his teacher. Jiren strove to master further strength and the right path with his teacher. One by one Jiren gained new companions and then the evildoer returned. He fought alongside his companions. Jiren thought they could win, but the enemy was too strong. One by one all of Jiren's companions were killed. Even his teacher died in the fight. Jiren tried to rise again, but no one would stand with him. The weak could do nothing but obey the strong. Jiren was alone, abandoned by those he trusted. Jiren's grief was immeasurable. That's when he realized having trust is worthless. He also realized strength is justice. Strength is absolute. Winning will bring companions. Winning would get him everything. Emotions mean nothing. I was drawn to Jiren's thirst for strength and his solitude. Belmod said. So your wish. I see what it is. Here I thought you were just a killing machine. You're just as human as the rest of us then. 17 said. That's enough talking from you, Belmod. Jiren said and blasted 17 back. Trust? Huh. So you were just using the others to your own ends. 17 said. Silence. You know nothing of Jiren. Belmod exclaimed. You live, but you're still obsessed with the past. 17 said and Jiren appeared in front of him. He took a swing at him, but 17 jumped away. Looks like I've struck a nerve. 17 said. Jiren flew forward, grabbed him by the face and smashed him through a boulder and then punched him away into another pile of rocks. 17 recovered and flew at Jiren with a punch and Jiren countered with his own, locking them in a stalemate. Do you think you can make things better, like the way they were if you win? Sorry to tell you buddy, but it won't work. You think you can just bury the past? 17 said. Ridiculous. Jiren said as he grabbed 17 by the arm and threw him away. Strength is absolute. Strength forgives all, even the past. Lament your own weakness. Jiren said. He fired a strong energy blast at Gohan and Vegeta, who were still down, aiming to eliminate them. Gohan and Vegeta laid there helplessly as they watched the attack get closer and closer to them. That's when 17 appeared in front of them and started to hold back the attack with his barriers. What are you doing? Vegeta asked. At least save yourself. Gohan said. 17 was holding the barriers as much as he could and Jiren had to add more power to his attack. 17 stood his ground despite the pleasing coming from his sister. One by one the barriers broke and each time one broke, 18 would beg him to stop. Hey, Gohan, Vegeta, I'm giving up on that cruiser I wanted. You better thank me for this. 17 said and placed a barrier around both of them. Hopefully you got some rest, you're going to need it. Sacrificing myself for others, look at me, acting like a true human being. 17 said. The final barrier broke and 17 knew it was time to make his move. Gohan and Vegeta were on the ground bracing for impact and that's when 17 made his move. He let out a yell, and the next thing everyone knew, an explosion happened, canceling out Jiren's attack. You were saved. Be grateful that he sacrificed himself to protect your weak asses. Jiren said. Rubble fell and revealed Gohan and Vegeta both laying on the ground inside of the barriers that broke apart from 17 sacrificing himself. The rocks they were laying on broke apart and they fell to the ring underneath them. Gohan couldn't stand up anymore since he took the most damage after Jiren powered up. Vegeta managed to get back on his feet and stared down Jiren. Naruto walked around and noticed 17's shirt only remained from the explosion and looked up at 18 and then the Grand Priest, who nodded. Stands. Android 17 has been eliminated due to self-destruction. The Grand Priest announced and Zeno marked him off. He's gone. He sacrificed himself just to make sure we would win. I told him to get out of the way. Why didn't he listen? 18 said she refused to cry, but let loose when Krillin pulled her in for a hug. In that instant, to save Gohan and Vegeta, not only did he put up a barrier, he self-destructed to erase Jiren's attack. Elder Kai said, "This is bad. We're down to our last 2 fighters and one of them is down and the other can barely stand." Beerus said, "Looks like you're in a bad spot, Beerus." Belmod said, laughing at him. "Perhaps you shouldn't laugh, Lord Belmod. Naruto still remains and it is unclear if he will join forces with his counterpart Saiyans." Makarita said, "He won't. Naruto wants to fight Jiren alone and that's what he'll do." Vados said, "I'm sorry to say this, but I think Naruto wins that fight." Kuss said, "What makes you say that?" Whis asked, "I mean the amount of power Jiren's been putting out since he got serious is nothing to scoff at and yet, Naruto hasn't even reacted to it. I'm beginning to wonder if his full strength steps into their boundaries." Kuss said, "You can't possibly mean what I think you mean." Makarita said with a slight terror in her voice. "Yes, I'm beginning to think his power steps into the area only angels are in. He's not on our level of course, but he would be stronger than all gods yet just barely able to pass an angel." Kuss said, "It's not possible for a mortal to obtain that kind of strength." Whis said, "It was also impossible for mortals to use divine energy at one point in time and it was also impossible for a mortal to be able to challenge and even defeat a god of destruction. Both things happened so I wouldn't rule this out. I don't think his Super Saiyan 3 transformation is all he can do. He's hiding something, but we don't know what it is." Vados said, looking at Naruto. "Fighting area. You still stand?" Jiren asked as he landed across from Vegeta. "Jiren, I'm more than enough to knock you off." Vegeta said, "Your teammate sacrificed himself to save you too. Ridiculous. No matter how many weaklings gather, against absolute strength, it's pointless. Yet you still intend to knock me off." Jiren said, "Yeah, I am Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans, and I will defeat you." Vegeta said, breathing heavily. "You can't." Jiren simply stated, "That confidence of yours really pisses me off." Vegeta said he tried to power up but failed, only raising a few pebbles off the ground. "No usual transformation this time. It seems you're having performance issues." Jiren said, and Naruto snickered at that. "This form is more than enough for the likes of you." Vegeta said. He rushed forward and began taking Jiren with all he could, and Jiren didn't even have to try to block or dodge them. "It's futile. Just throw yourself off the stage." Jiren said, still blocking Vegeta's attacks even though he didn't have to since there was no power behind them. "Shut up." Vegeta said. He threw a left jab at Jiren which was dodged and his right fist was caught by Jiren. "I see. Very well then. Playtime is over." Jiren. He hit Vegeta with an uppercut sending him flying to another rock. Vegeta grabbed onto a crack on the rock to keep himself from falling off and being eliminated. "I won't end here," Vegeta said. He thought about his talk with Kaba at the Xeno Expo and the promise he made. He also thought about the good times he's had with his family, and although he never would admit it, he loved seeing the smile on her face. Last but not least, he thought about his newborn, Bulla. He managed to pull himself back up to his feet and faced Jiren. "I swear that Universe 7 is going to win. It's not over yet. Don't ever underestimate a Saiyan," Vegeta declared. "A punch like that barely tickles. My son and newborn hit harder than you," Vegeta said. He charged at Jiren and swung a fist that Jiren leaned back from and punched Vegeta in the face again, sending him to the ground. "It's not over yet," Vegeta said. He rushed in at Jiren again with another punch that was blocked. He followed up with another that was dodged and then got kicked back by Jiren. He rushed again and attacked Jiren twice. Both times were blocked and he was punched in the chest. He went for a punch to Jiren's gut, but he blocked it and kneed Vegeta in the ribs. Jiren proceeded to treat Vegeta like his personal punching bag. He punched Vegeta in the face with heavy punches ranging from jabs to uppercuts and haymakers. Gohan couldn't do anything but watch helplessly as Vegeta was utterly destroyed. Jiren finished up his assault with a heavy chop to Vegeta's shoulder. "You can't win," Jiren stated. "Even if I can't win, it doesn't matter so long as Universe 7 wins. If I'm going down, I'm taking your arm with me," Vegeta declared. He grabbed Jiren's arm and intended to break it off, but Jiren exerted energy from his arm, sending Vegeta flying away. "Not yet. It can't end yet," Vegeta said as he stood up. Jiren put energy around his fist and just punched Vegeta in the face, causing him to break through a rock and bounce off another. He was saved from elimination by his heel getting caught on a rock. "Vegeta, pull yourself together." Vegeta heard. "Vegeta, what are you doing?" Vegeta. He realized he was hearing Bulma's voice and it was annoying him. "That damn woman, she just won't let me sleep no matter where I'm at," he said and lifted himself up to face Jiren again. Naruto was watching on as Vegeta fought until he couldn't fight anymore. He gave Vegeta his respect and secretly acknowledged him as a true king. "The fight is already over. What is it that drives you this far?" Jiren asked. "Who knows? But, even if I told you, you're just a cold-hearted, emotionless bastard, you would never understand what it means to fight to protect something," Vegeta said. He jumped on the rocks, giving him momentum, and flew at Jiren with a punch, and he was simply swatted away like a fly. He planted his foot on the ground and heard Bulma's voice again, this time congratulating him and wishing him luck. Final Flash. Vegeta fired off the weakest Final Flash he has ever done at Jiren and was at least proud that it connected. The smoke cleared and Jiren just stood there, so Vegeta rushed in with the last of his strength and threw a punch that was easily caught. "I'll at least acknowledge your great pride. It's over," Jiren said. He punched Vegeta in the face with a hard right and it had enough force to send Vegeta flying over the edge. "I couldn't keep my promise. I'm a damn fool, and now, I'm a liar as well. Gohan, I leave the rest to you," Vegeta thought. He gave the rest of his strength to Gohan before he was officially eliminated. Gohan, feeling the power from Vegeta, stood up and stared down Jiren. "Vegeta, I hear you loud and clear," Gohan said as he powered up to his new form. Stands. Vegeta from Universe 7 has been eliminated. The Grand Priest announced as Vegeta appeared on the bench. "Here Vegeta, take this Senzu bean," Goku said and gave him one. "Are you alright Vegeta?" Krillin asked. "He's awake, so that's good. Sorry to tell you this Vegeta, but you're in the spectator seats now," Goku said. "Thanks to your effort, Gohan's recovered a little bit of his power and stamina," Roshi said. "Vegeta, you did really well. You've made your universe proud," Beerus said. "It's good to see you're okay though," Whis said. "Yeah, that was quite the whooping you took down there," Champa said. "I can see why you call him your master, Kaba," Kale said. "Yeah, he's pretty strong. Too bad he wasn't strong enough to beat Jiren though. We're doomed," Caulifla said. "We still have Naruto down there Caulifla," Vados stated. "Yeah, I know, but I don't feel like he'll win," Caulifla said. "Does this have anything to do with your current animosity you have towards him?" Vados asked. "Regardless of how you feel about him, he's our last hope at survival. So you better put your feelings aside for now and hope he wins," Hit said. "I guess you're right," Caulifla said. "Don't worry, I'll cheer for you if you don't want to Caulifla," Kale said. "Of course you are. He's your boyfriend after all," Caulifla said, and Kale blushed. None of them noticed the gleam in Belmod's eyes at this revelation. Fighting area. "I still can't understand it. Why put all their faith in you? I'll admit you are a skilled warrior, but against someone of my stature, you do not stand a chance. Trust begets nothing," Jiren said. "You really think so? I've been in this situation before. You're nothing more than another obstacle I have to overcome," Gohan said. Gohan got in a fighting stance and wasted no time charging at Jiren. They exchanged punches and kicks for a bit and they eventually disappeared, creating shockwaves every time they hit each other. The fight didn't last much longer because Gohan ran out of stamina and then Jiren just beat him the exact same way he did Vegeta. He ended the assault on Gohan by kicking him in the back of the head, sending him flying away and hitting the ground unconscious. Stands. Finally. The fight we've all been waiting for. Caulifla said. As much as I hate to agree with the loud mouth, I am also looking forward to this fight. Vegeta said. We're finally going to see how strong both of them really are. Beerus said. They're both practically at full health, so there will be no excuses for why the other lost. Roshi said. I believe this fight will get hectic. Makarita said. Naruto vs. Jiren. This fight has been building since Naruto arrived at the tournament. Kus said. Doesn't matter who it is, Jiren's going to win this tournament. Belmod said. How about we watch the fight instead? Vados said. Oh man. This has got my blood pumping. I've lost to both of them. I really want to see who's the strongest. Goku said. Come on Naruto. Champa said. Kick his. Caulifla yelled. Fighting area. So you're finally done hiding. Jiren said. Please, I've done everything but hide. I've even kicked you already. I'm sure you remember that. Naruto said. That's in the past, it doesn't matter anymore. Jiren said. This is coming from somebody who refuses to move on from his past experiences. Naruto said. Shut your mouth. Do not patronize me. Jiren said. Ah, is somebody mad? You get no sympathy from me. You're just a grown man that's afraid to grow up and move on. Naruto said. That did it. Jiren began releasing his power and Naruto just smirked at him. Naruto released a bit of his power as well and matched whatever Jiren put out. Their power was strong, especially Naruto's, and he hasn't even transformed yet. I hope you're ready to lose. This will be the last fight that you'll ever fight in. Jiren said. Big talk from somebody who practically hid the entire tournament. While you were hiding, I was honing my skills, getting better every time I faced a new opponent. Naruto said. The stage was set and everyone was on the edge of their seats. This was the fight that will make everything else look like kid fights. Makarita and Belmod were silent, staring at Jiren, while Champa and Vados were staring at Naruto. Good luck Naruto. Vados spoke telepathically. He didn't respond and simply smirked a little bit. Unknown to Naruto, Vados was secretly showing the fight with Jiren to Sala, who was at home when the screen with the fight popped up. Good luck big brother. Sala said. Jiren and Naruto were still staring each other down, and then Naruto smirked, which for some reason made Jiren angry. Naruto, seeing this, only said one word. Go.